we'll be chattering and nattering in the garden county shed. But if a decent match comes up, then we'll do that instead.
Winners Enclosure Bookmakers, your local independent bookmaker. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat and Instagram for all our daily specials and enhanced odds. Phone us on 1890 429 863.
Murphy's Liquidation Furniture and Garden County Sport.
Hello and welcome to our midweek review of the previous weekend's action across the county. Joined as always by John Hynes and Emmet O'Sullivan to discuss all things football across the board. Also here with me as usual, Alan is here. So
afternoon.
Before we get into GA, we just have to quickly mention a wonderful win for Bray Wanderers on Friday night. They bet Wexford Youth 5-1 in the Electricity League, which is moving them nicely up the table. Philip Gaddens had a second half strike, and there was goals from Paul Keegan, Brandon McCann, John Martin, I think he scored from the half line, and Dylan McGlade. So a comfortable win for Bray Wanderers, and they're playing St. Pat's next in the Cup. So that's a good result for Bray. Also, Enniskerry Boxing Club's Cole Byrne bowed out of the EUBC Schoolboys European Boxing Championships in Tbilisi in the quarter-final stage today. So hard luck to Cole there. Great performance so far. He had great wins the last couple of days against Lithuanian Dan Sabliski and Gasamili Liman from Azerbaijan. So hard luck today. He lost to an Armenian boxer, Nersisian Narek. So hard luck.
Well done,
5-star performance here. So
I was seeing Kevin.
Just going to take my hat off here and grab my coat. So thanks very much everyone tuning in from anywhere across the world. We've listeners tuning in tonight from Toronto, a young Roscommon man that dreamt of playing for Wicklow as a child. So thanks very much everyone for tuning in. We'll kick off, we'll go on to the Senior Football Championship on Saturday. We're going to start with Group 1. Rathnew 111-110 winners over Tinahely in a pulsating game over the course of 60 minutes. Unfortunately, there was a serious injury to county footballer and star Ross O'Brien, and we wish him all the best. But as Rathnew come back at the end as well and do what they do best.
Yeah, we were just alluding to it there. You look at the table and Rathnew have 5 points. They're unbeaten, 1 draw, 2 wins, and they've just +5 of a score difference. So the old cliche of trying to get the better Rathnew in tight games could never have been more true. I think Tinahely will probably look back on a missed chance here. Again, we were talking about with Arklow the week before that they probably didn't push on when they should have pushed on. With a couple of injuries, they lost a man after 9 minutes, Mark Doyle getting sent off. Ross went off, Warren Kavanagh went off. I just think, for Tinahely, if there was their day to beat them, they should have really pushed on and beat them on Saturday evening. And I know there's probably a little bit of ill feeling about some decisions and all that went on in the match, but I think you just have to look at yourself after what I'm after listening out there, and you have to stand back. Gary Byrne, great goal at the end of it, ran half the length of the field, wasn't a hand left on him. That's not the referee's fault. So I just think if Tinahely in the cold light today have a sit back and look at it, they'll probably see that as a chance missed, to be honest.
Well, they had several opportunities throughout the game. I only saw the first half and I managed to look back at the video to see the rest of it. They had several opportunities to put the game to bed, and they were unable to. In the first half, my own personal feeling, I think they starved Owen Darcy a ball. And any ball they gave into him was a high ball, and in on top of Dignam, it's like throwing cookies to a bear. You're never ever going to win them. The chap isn't. Like you have to give him a chance. Like he's pace to burn. Like we said it before, he will win high ball, a low ball, a bouncing ball, but still, like you can't just give him Gary Owens either. Willie Quayle got the goal right at the right time in the start of the second half. Then unfortunately the injury came, which was an awful break in play. Did the play maybe give the old guard of Rathnew a little bit of time to catch their wind? Maybe so, but look at
Tinahely came out after that and scored 2 points,
They
I
did.
think, after that as well. So
Yeah.
you can look at it both ways.
Yeah.
I think, again, you know, you talk about this Rathnew team. I think there was a few choice words said to Ross when he was on the ground as well at that stage, which I wouldn't agree with personally. But, you know, you don't poke a bear.
No.
You know, you don't give these Rathnew lads, you know, something to come out of that dressing room again with fire in their belly again. You don't go down that road, you know. You're in control of a game. You hold control as long as you can. And as I said, you know, you don't poke a bear. You don't give them reason to come at you all guns blazing, you know. And look, again, we say this week in, week out, year in, year out. You know, when you look at what these lads were missing, you have to give it to them. They're bang there at the top of their group. You know, there's like, when these lads start coming back from their injuries and everything starts to fall into place, they're going to be no back number here in this championship.
And they never are. Oh, sorry, John, for cutting the walk away there.
No, just to add that I didn't get the game, so I can't go into the real specifics. Saw some of the clips, but like, I mean, yeah, like they're in the games that you want to win the championship. They've won 2 now, where they pulled them, you know, real tight games where they were ran close, where they had, you know, maybe men left the field for various reasons, and you know they're after pulling 2 wins out of it. And sometimes you'd look at that and you go, Jesus, I'm happy with the point there. They're 5 hard-won points there now, and it's going to stand to them for sure as the year goes on. I think the loss of Ross O'Brien, it looks like, I haven't heard the full diagnosis, sounds like a really terrible injury, so you might as well write him off for the rest of the year. That's a big loss. Like, for any team, that's a big loss, and they may feel that later in the championship. Like, from Tinahely's point of view, like, I mean, yeah, okay, they had their chance, and they could have beaten Rathnew and all of that, and the headlines and all that. They put themselves in a little dangerous position now. They're playing Kiltegan now, who have got 2 points, and a loss against Kiltegan in the next game, or to not get a point in that game in the next game, and after a very good start to this group, they've now put themselves in a little bit of a precarious position, you know. So I think they'll regret it hugely, as Sully says, they're going to regret it, but not just for the fact of the scalp, but for the fact of if they were playing any team in that game, the third game in the group, and it was the situation that they're in, they've just given a little chink of light to teams that were well behind them now. And as fate would have it, who are they playing? That team that's after getting 2 points over the weekend.
Yeah, like I suppose there is a little bit of ill feeling in the, I suppose, on the social media and that sort of stuff over the weekend. But like, Tinahely didn't score for 14 points and 14 minutes, sorry.
Yep.
And against a team of Rathnew, you can't really afford to do that.
And 10 or 11 wides, I think. Like, and that's why I was hitting it earlier on there. Willie Quayle got the goal at the right time, and then he was nearly through for another goal. And like, he took a shot, but like, again, Dignam, you have to go along the side with a ball to try have any chance of you. Like, you know, I know when I just crept over the bar, but like, the chap had a very good game.
He's having a good season.
He's having a very, very good season.
He was going to be my man to match if
Yeah.
you know.
Like, he was playing junior a couple of years ago. You know, there was some really anticipated arrivals in the Tinahely team over this year and last year. But you know, Willie Quayle's having a great season for them. Really is. I'm really impressed with him. But yeah, go on. You were going to say.
Yeah, and like, they had other opportunities to try put the game to bed, and as I said, but equally so, Rathnew got scores at crucial times. Like, there was a 1 or 2 incidents in the game. Obviously, we'll go to the sending off. Like, Tinahely lost by a point, and look, I'm not here, same as anyone else, to tear the back off referees, right? Like, we gave John O'Brien a bit of stick the last time, again, the AGB Kiltegan match. Now, I think in this game, it was never going to be easy. Right, he stepped up. He made a few good calls in my book. I'm going to give him credit where credit's due. The sending off 100% had to go. The penalty, there was a big call for a penalty decision. I'm still on defence. I say no penalty.
I don't think so either.
Personally, I don't think it was.
Clips and like, I mean, to give referees their due in a fast-moving game, the ball going into the square, we saw it on Donegal and Mayo, we saw it also ourselves with Kilcoole and Dunlavin. Very hard to call it, and kind of, you know, 7 times out of 10, 8 times out of 10, they're going with the defender that hits, or with the forward that hits the ground. And I can see how referees, we had the benefit of watching it again and again, and if Johnny called that as he saw it, it was a bloody good call, because basically, you know, to my mind, the forwards' momentum was taking him to the ground. Rathnew back just didn't take the weight of him, and he hit the ground. There was very little contact. It was, you know, if there had been no player there, I think he would have gone on the ground anyway. So I don't think it was a penalty, and I agree with you on the sending off. I think he got that absolutely bang on. And look, Mark, just not clever, kiddo. You know, like, I mean, you're getting a free 10 minutes into the game. You know,
getting a free, and like, on that tackle that the full back committed, he possibly could have got a black card for the way he dragged him down. It looked awkward, you know. Mark was getting up then, and the rest happened. But like, just going back to the penalty, and I'll come back to that red card then. Like, the ball was drilled across. It was absolutely excellent way it was fizzed across the goal there. Be Owen Byrne or Rockenborn, and across comes Stokes. But if he was a natural left foot player, and he was always going to have to stop to check back, to get back on his good foot to try to get any kind of a shot. And as he was turning, he was going backwards, and he put the defender, as you say, put his two arms out. He didn't put them around him, and he was kind of falling. Now, I looked at Stokes as well. He wasn't really shouting for a penalty, you know. Like, all happened so quick. It's easy for us to say because we're able to look back. But if that was a right foot player, straight away he is on his good foot to pull the trigger, you know. But like, that's just one. But going back then to the sending off, like, I checked this out today now, and there is a ruling out there about what happened with the sending off, and why it wasn't a throw ball, you know. And there was Tinahely lost by a point, and this is one of the big talking points.
They still held the free.
Right?
Yeah,
so
I think that was the talking
in the
point,
sending off issue, red card, yes. Mark Doyle. Free kick remains after sending off. A referee only cancels a free and throws in the ball if the sent or his authority is challenged by the team or the player awarded the free initially. That's fair enough in saying that, if that is the rule. But it was still the same incident. The full back and full forward were still on the ground. The ball was still there when he was getting up, and the incident happened for the sending off. So there, in my mind, until I'm challenged otherwise, I still think it should be a throw ball.
For all my time playing, I would have always have said, I didn't know that part of the rule. Yeah. I would have always said that if you retaliate, it's a throw ball. Yeah. That would have been my look on the rule. But obviously, if there's something there, I think there's a lot of referees don't know it either. If that's the case, where John O'Brien was on top of things, if he knew that rule. So, like, as I said, that's the first I've heard of that end of that rule, to be honest. Yeah. So, you know, look, if John O'Brien is on top of it and that's the rule, and then fair play, you know. And I think it's more ignorance on my part than anything else. And
I think it is with a lot of people like that, because you are shouting out about the rulings of this and the rulings of that, and you don't really know the ins and outs of it. Like, and rules are changing from year to year. But like, that's just I went personally to find out what the story was, you know, and that's the ruling I got on that today. It happened a couple of weeks ago again. The Billies and Kilmac for the same thing. The free still stood, but Kilmac lost the player. You know, so like, it is being enforced.
Yeah. Well, look, as I said, it's ignorance on my behalf then, because I would have always thought that it was a throw ball once there was any sort of retaliation. Yeah. But look, again, does every ref know it? I don't know. But look, as you said, it's being enforced, so it's obviously something that's being brought up to them, and it is being done.
But like, there's one or two other incidents in the game, and I wouldn't like to be in there refing it. You know, it's not. It's a helter-skelter place. Like, there was a long ball went in, and there was calls for the fullback. Tinahely fullback got pushed in the back, resulted in a point for Rathnew. Kick out taken straight out. I think Graham Merrigan won it. And in between the 65 and the 45, isn't that right? Yeah. And he went in, put over the bar. You know, there, and like, but going back to Tinahely still kicked 10 or 11 wides. They had.
But again, these are decisions like that every team is dealing with every day of the week. You know, I mean, we can talk about this all night, and as we said, you know, it came up on social media, however, this is championship football. You know, there's no one going to lead you by the hand down Tockram and hand you out your medal at the end of the day. This is championship football. Refs are going to miss an odd thing. Players are going to do things that you don't expect. Your own lads are going to do things that you'd never think to do. That's what it all boils down to. It's how you react and how you drive forward. And it's just, for me, Rathnew's reaction to losing so many players. And I just think they come back and it's that never say die attitude that it's not in every club anymore. Lots of clubs had it and they've lost it. But you just have to give it. I mean, Stafford was immense by all manner of means, you know. Like, the man was unplayable. Like, you know, he was being double marked. Yeah. You know, like, you know, people are talking about maybe being in the twilight of his career a bit or whatever. But like, you know, a young team like Tinahely to come out and have to double mark him on a day like that as well. Like, and you just have to give it to him. I just think, you know, I think it's what Tinahely take from this now is the big thing. I think, as John alluded to, like, you know, Kiltegan next and the Gers left to play as well. 2 massive games from now, and, you know, to step forward, it's what they learn out of this. if I was over Tinahely at the minute, Alan Costello doesn't need to tell me what to do, but I'd be blanking them away from all that talk about refs and all that messing. That game is gone, you were beaten by a point. I mean, I'd be going the other way saying, let's look at what we done wrong, let's sort a few things out, let's look at what we done right for most part, and and we'd sort it out that way. But I'd just be trying to blank him away from all that silly talk, to be honest.
You're 100% right, because you can talk about the social media, you can talk about the referees till the cows come home.
That can get into lads' heads as well.
But there's only one way of fixing it now, and as you're right, getting back into the field and let's fix our end of it. Let's get our shop in order here.
And like I'd say, boy, just back to the table and that. I think Tinahely need a point. They need at least a point out of these last 2 games. Like, I mean, just to be sure that third place now, or perhaps the second, I don't know, but like, I mean, they can't sit on 4 points and expect to get out of this now. So it's getting into the business end of it now.
I know we're going to review matches next week, but just saying, like, they're coming up against the Kiltegan team that have scored 3-9, 2-12, 2-14. You know what I mean? Like, they're going to have to. You're looking at having to score 16 or 17 points to beat Kiltegan.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? On their farm up to now, whether you like it or not, as you said, and that's what you're looking at. So like that's no easy game now. Tinahely or Kiltegan have a sniff there now as well, and they'll be coming looking.
And like you said at the very start of this, if you have to stop the long diagonal ball into Shawnee. We're 3 games in here, and no one's been able to do it.
No one has been able to do it.
So. We'll move on to that now in a second. Just last week, Alan. You tipped Tinahely to win. You tipped Paddy O'Rourke to be your man of the match. I think we're giving the nod to James Stafford in that one.
We are, yeah.
Yeah. So
without a shadow of a doubt, and I will gladly hand it over to him.
Yeah. So 0 out of 1 for Alan there on that one.
But just before this goes any further tonight, lads, I'm going to get a ferocious Leighton here tonight. All right. So.
Yes, you are.
So 0 out of 1 there. On to the next game. In that group, Kiltegan 2-14 to 1-13 winners over Newtown. We witnessed one of the goals of the season, probably one of the best goals scored in Ockram.
Well, we're keeping track of all of them, and we're going to put a little complication or collage. That's what at the end of it all together now, and we have a good few things there at the minute now. But I tell you, it's gone. There was a few great goals scored over this weekend. There was, but Shawnee's was. Take a bow, son. Top draw.
Yeah, look, it was, I think we were all standing together when he scored, and it was just the awe factor when he done it. Like, you couldn't believe what you were watching. But again, it's a big win for Kiltegan, and again, it's Newtown going toe to toe with someone and just coming up short. They've done well in their first 3 matches. They've nothing to show for really. They're only minus 15 in their score. They've lost 3 matches. They're not losing by a lot. It's a tough place for them to be in at the minute, but again, 2-14 on the board, 2-6 from Shawnee. Kiltegan, they're no one-trick pony, don't get me wrong, but it was just a tour de force from the man, and even the writing was on the wall. I think the Newtown keeper made a fantastic save in the first half.
He made 2.
Shawnee caught high ball, went in, and I'm still wondering how he saved it, to be fair. It was a brilliant save, and look, it's put Kiltegan right back in the mix in that group.
Yeah, Kiltegan have we've talked about it a few weeks past. Kiltegan have had a tough whole year in the league, and lads. It's probably the best lined out Kiltegan team I've seen this year. It's close to the team they've had the last couple of years that was moving well and motoring well. Now look, you can't just roll them all in and throw them out onto the field. You've got to get a bit of gel them all together and get a bit of training under the belt, and they've got a bit. But if they can keep Shawnee, look, we could talk about them all day. Fabulous scores, but Stephen Farrell played very well and is a very good footballer for Kiltegan. Cathal Fitzgerald is a very good footballer for Kiltegan. They're a little bit of the lesser lights, and I haven't even mentioned Rory Finner Porcatul, but there's a little bit of strength in that Kiltegan team. Probably a bit light on the line, maybe, but just Blaine Harmon back in full back. He's played midfield in a couple of the games this year. Again, Blaine Harmon, he's a fine footballer, but his position is full back, I would say. So they've got Blaine in full back, Stephen Farrell playing well at centre back, Porrick, Rory Finn. It's not a bad looking Kiltegan team now compared to the first one that lined out in the year. Shawnee's motor, and it probably wasn't a whole lot different. I'm just saying that they've got a little bit of momentum now. They've got 2 points on the board, and everybody else doesn't seem that far away now.
But don't forget, they're very unlucky not to have 4. Like
Yeah.
Hollywood bet him last kick of the game with the penalty, and like that's grand. We're not going to go go back through the whole thing, but they could have had 4. You know, they played well.
You pays your money, you takes your chance. Like, I mean,
That's it.
But
like just going on to that, like I said, they could have had 4 goals. Like great save from Turner off of Shawnee. Another great save off Podge O'Toole. You know, went out, they were shouting for the 45, it was wide all day long. But another lad that played absolutely exceptional now, we didn't give him man of the match, but with Colin Keogh wing back, he was absolutely immense.
Yeah.
He was up and down that field now, he worked absolutely.
Yeah, I thought he played really, really well. We talked about it, alright, sorry, microphone stealing here. But he played really well. He probably benefited a little bit from the Newtown system, which tends to have 4 or 5 forwards up there, and he ended up not marking for, you know, they're kind of key men. So he had a bit of free rein, and he used it. But like, I mean, so not taken away from it at all. But had a really good game. He was prominent throughout, fit, moved well, you know, and add him into that mix there, and it's a nice looking. I think just maybe the line, as I said, they might be just struggling a bit with the line, and you know, if they could, you know, 1 or 2 other subs to bring in, you know, but
like if they suffer from the injuries that Rathnew had, like that's it. Like, isn't it? Like they've a panel of 21, I think, listed it on Sunday. Like they can't afford to lose anyone after this.
Afford to lose anyone, even they can't. Black card is a damage to them. You know what I mean?
Like even got black carded early enough, like, you know?
So like, you know, like as we're saying, they're very tight on numbers. But look, when you look across the page, Newtown are in a similar vein. Like, you know, they were decimated with injuries as well, and like, to be fair to them, they've put up a really good battle here. You know, again, we're talking about a battle and performance that just hasn't yielded anything for them. And as I said, it must be just a tough place to be in at the minute. Like, it's not as if they're playing terribly bad either. You know what I mean? Like,
no, they're not. But they're just. There's probably too many dry spells with them in the games. Like, I mean, they have been, like, it probably
4-1 up, and then just, you know, Kiltegan came back, like switched off.
And unfortunately, they possibly peaked a bit in their first game. Do you know what I mean? And it's been a little bit of a say a decrease in the games after that. Like, as Sully says, like, they were dead. Like, I think at one point during the week that Ken Turner was dodgy, ended up not kicking. He started obviously, but ended up not kicking out the ball, and then had to bring on.
I think they were down to 4
Chapel. Chapel came on to go on the goal from the keeper. Name escapes me. The great junior championship match for them, or league final. Sorry, the league final. I think he was injured, so their first goalie was doubtful, but started. Their second goalie, I think at one point they were talking about putting Paul O'Riordan in the goal. You know, so like, I mean, take Dean Odlum not available on the day again. A guy that people will always keep an eye out for. Gregory, Ross Davis, all put in their shift. Declan Doyle, but Declan Doyle out to midfield, for Paul Reardon. But look, you know, as much as I like the lads and Declan good, or Damon's a good friend of mine. Look, they're just the last 3 over the course of the 3 games. It's a results game, and like, I mean, it's just, you know, it's.
But and one final thing on that there, like Shawnee, as we hear on him already, but another lad that has to get credit that I think made it easy for Shawnee in there. Derek Daly never stopped running in there, and I felt sorry for him because he wanted so much ball, and you could hear him shouting around, and he was living off scraps from Shawnee, you know. But that worked because they had another lad to try worry about in there, you know. And like, if
he got a good few fouls.
He did. He got a good few fouls. Like, but
Derek Daly's forgotten more about playing full forward lines than most of us will know. Like, you know, so like you say, like, he does that kind of. He's a danger, and he's going to be watched. But he probably plays second fiddle to Shawnee a wee bit. But like, Jesus, for effort and for keeping everybody honest up there, for sure. Like, I mean, never stopped at it. I'm not sure how long he's home for.
I don't know either.
Like, I know he's been away and he's back, but but yeah, no, Derek worked very hard up there as well. Yeah.
So you tipped Kiltegan that one, Alan, did you? Or
I had Kiltegan, yes.
You had Kiltegan, and you also tipped Shawnee Furlong as man of the match, and that's who has got our nomination as well. So.
Hey!
That's probably saved you, I'd say, this week.
John's going to say something.
I will just give one thing. I looked at the clip again on Facebook in the comments section. In fairness to Bobby Green, and he was marking him, right?
Yeah.
And he had one of probably the best comments I've seen in a long time. He said, so if you look at the clip, he buys it hook, line and sinker, and he just keeps walking towards the sideline. And his comment was, lads, I'm away off to the shop there if anybody wants it.
Yeah. Well, he's still getting it. He's still getting it today now. And fair play to him. He was nearly first to react on it, and it's
sure,
only
look,
a bit
yeah.
of crack. Like,
You've got to put your hand up.
He did,
you know.
like, and you can't be a lad jeering himself. No one else can get a run at you. You know.
There was a good few orders got in. There was Caesar salads and cokes and everything got in there. I think so.
And
Still coming in.
And they're coming in today. Another lad said, "Will you get the outlet a few messages?"
So fair play to you for that. That's we really appreciate it. We're actually
And we know you won't fall for it again.
Yeah. No, we're in the press box if we see this message coming in.
God help the next lad that tries to sidestep him.
He could be walking to the side, but not for messages.
Be going to the shop with him. The last game in that group, Arklow Gers 16 points, Hollywood 1-9. Hollywood, bit of a slow start for them in the first half, but came back and gave the Gers a bit of a fright. But the Gers managed to pull away by 4 in the end. Emmet?
Yeah, sorry. Hollywood, look, you know, you were kind of expecting the Gers to put this one to bed, especially with the start they got, but they kind of left Hollywood hanging there, or to be fair to Hollywood, they got themselves back into it. You know, they were the really spirited performance from them, and you know, with maybe 10 minutes to go, you were kind of looking, wondering, is this going to happen? But I just think on the Gers, you know, look, they've scored 16 points here, they've won their match. Look, there's not a lot you can say. I don't think they're moving as well as they were this time last year, if I'm being honest, and that's my opinion on it. I don't think they look as slick an outfit as they did this time last year. That's not taking anything away from Hollywood, because grit, like we talked about with Rathnew there, but like the grit and determination of these lads was unbelievable, to be fair. Like many other teams would have laid down and went home being bet by a cricket score in this match, you know, and Hollywood kept plugging away, and it looked like a bounce of a ball could have them back in at any stage.
Yeah, like I mean, like you say, ultimately the scoreline makes it fairly comprehensive. 16 points, that's 16 scores, went up there. And look, fair play to Arklow. I'm getting on their back a bit in the last few weeks, and it's because I would set the bar very high for Arklow. I really admired them. I thought over the last couple of years they were fabulous, they were a breath of fresh air, all that good stuff. But yeah, good scoreline at the end. But as Sully said, like I mean, the thing that they would be disappointed with in Arklow is that they allowed Hollywood to dictate the pace of the game for large sections of the game. Do you know what I mean? And that's what gave Hollywood a puncher's chance. Like I mean, and Hollywood were so game, and they slowed the game down. They played it on their terms, and Arklow allowed that to happen, which meant that there was sections of that game where we were, like as Sully said, we were all going, this could happen here. Like I mean, there was times when Hollywood was scoring 2-3 points on the bounce, then they put one wide, and you're going, they've got it back to 3 points, they got it back to 4 points. To be fair to Arklow, they always managed to go up and chip one over when they wanted it. But we talked about it last week and the week before, they could just, the Highland factor, it's that cool head out there, it's the experienced head, it's, and look, I know Stephen Hurley is gone as far as I know, but again, it's just, they're the things that were missing from their heyday of last year, like when they were, in that semi-final and going so close. Like, I mean, Hurley was such an impact on it, and he's gone, so there's no point eating bread is forgotten and all of that, but it's just the fact that, the pace of the game was dictated by Hollywood, and they made it be that slogging match for that amount of time, but made people go, Jesus Christ, this could be an upset here. But ultimately it was a convincing win of 16 points.
And again, I think everyone in Ockram could hear, you talk about leaders, and like Mervyn Travers was going ballistic at one stage there in the second half, trying to tell lads where to go, what to do, and that they were being got on top of, I think they just needed someone further out the field, as you said. They needed a centre back, they needed someone around the middle of the field to turn around and say, well, look lads, let's get a grip of this game and drive forward again. And as I said, they're victims probably of their own success over the last few years. We're all expecting this swashbuckling, fast, open football, and it's not going to happen every day, and it doesn't happen every day. But as I said, I just think they're a little step off where they were this time last year. I don't think, they're not that far, but I just think that loose, open, stylish brand of football that they were playing, it just seems a little bit harder for them.
Yeah, and again, look, as I said, we seem to be getting it. They're top of their table on points difference, and they're almost there for a quarter final. I don't want to put a commentator's curse on like that. So, but what we're saying is just the bar with them, because they're just a fabulous football team. They've got great manager, good team, good squad size, good age profile, all that sort of stuff. So, look. It's a good win. They'll be happy. They'll go away. But look, that they'll be happy with the points. But it's just the fact that Hollywood dictated how the game was going to be played for good parts of that game. They won 50-50 balls that you don't want to lose. Hollywood were more, they wanted that. They might have realised they didn't have 3 scoring forwards, or that they didn't have, certain things that Arklow had. But by Jesus, if there was a ball to be won, Arklow were going to win it for the, the middle third of that game, or even more of it. They were excellent. Like Kevin Murphy up full forward, an unheralded guy there. But the trouble he caused, and Arklow allowed him up there, won an awful lot of ball, caused an awful lot of trouble up there. The 2 cornerbacks for Hollywood, was it Sean O'Keefe and Shane Kelly? They two that started, was it? Alongside Harry Wilson, who put in a good job. The 2 cornerbacks were, they were fabulous.
And they were most of last year as well. They're very, very good, and they're very sticky cornerbacks.
Cormac O'Shea, Carl Ashore, so, that tells you the story. Did Cathal Keller, did he come on? He came on, yeah.
There was a few talking points in this game as well. Personally myself, I think they started Carnew too far away from the goal. Right, they brought him out around the middle of the field. They left PJ Keefe in there with your man Murphy. Murphy there on the 20.5 minute, he got a point, but it was very near being a goal. But a minute and 20 on the clock, and the Geraldines had a goal chance. That they showed their threat, But at 28 minutes into this game, it was only 1-3 apiece. And then the Arklow side, they scored 4 points on the bounce. And it just before half time.
And just after the black card.
Yeah, and then
the black card and 4 points.
Got black card, which was a massive, and he knew himself, it was a black card. Yeah. He knew himself, because the minute he went to the ground, he put his hands out beside him, and he knew he had to go. But after that, I think Damo got the boys into the dressing room. Remember, we were just looking them down at the dugout, and there were I think there's 7 or 8 of them in a grand little huddle there, having a bit of a chinwag. What are they going to do? And they got them in, and whatever they done, it worked. Because out of the 16 points, 7 of them were scored by their subs that come on. So that's impressive. Yeah. A young Coolkenno lad come on there, and he scored 4 points. The minute he was in, bang bang, there on the 29th and the 30th minute, 1 from a dead ball and 1 from play. He's a nice little left foot on him there, and he scored another 2 in the second half there, on the 10th minute, and he had a goal chance there,
Shea McBride, was it? He came on as well. He scored 2 points.
He scored 2 points. Yeah, he scored there in the 22nd minute, 29th minute.
Even near the end of that game, when it was there for kind of closing out, they're able to call on Danny Hart and Cal Kelly as well to come in near the end of that match just to close things out a little bit. And there was a nervy few minutes around. Hollywood were probing. You were wondering.
Down to 3 points.
You were wondering, was there a goal going to come, and it was probing. But the strength, you're only as strong as your bench, as an old saying. And they have their strength on their bench as well.
But they got a goal, and Hollywood got a goal in the 29th minute, the second half, but was disallowed. Well, it wasn't, because keeper and all was pointing it back at the net. So
there was no argument about it.
No, it wasn't. It
was a try.
Yeah. Joe Sheridan job.
So that's the end of Group 1. Currently, Arklow, as you said, are on top. They've a score difference of 15. They've 5 points, 2 wins and a draw. Rathnew also have 2 wins and a draw. Their score difference is 5. Tinahely come up in 3rd place with 4. They've a score difference of 8, and they play Kiltegan next, who are on 2 points. They've a score difference of -12, is it? Sorry, -8. And Hollywood also, they're on 2 points, with a score difference of -9, and then Newtown yet to register a point in this. So the 3rd place, it would be saying 3rd place is up for grabs.
That 3rd place up for grabs, right? And I'm not trying. Look at Newtown for all of the promise are at the bottom of the table. Hollywood still have to play them, right? Hollywood have 2 points. Hollywood have to fancy their chances of 4 points here, right? So you're looking at Tinahely now. You're circling the herd here. Trying to find the wounded or the young.
Well, it's great.
And Tinahely, after a massive start, look a little bit it just puts that little edge in there, right? As I said, they need a point from somewhere now. Before, at the very least, they need a point. You're not safe on 4. You're not safe. You're on a pillar of sand there, or pillar of salt at 4 points. 4 points. So look, as I said, Kiltegan, they'll be all over this. They've nothing to lose. Play Tinahely. Get 2 points there on 4.
Well, if they're looking at anywhere getting points, he's off Kiltegan. No disrespect to them, but Kiltegan will come at champion at to be here but the Geraldines is their banana skin team. There's no doubt about it.
They bet them in the league this year, wouldn't they?
They bet them in the league this year, but last year they had they a few up and down games.
And I know we're not looking too far forward either. Hollywood won't fear Rathnew.
No.
That's one thing, they won't go out and lie down against Rathnew, you know what I mean? Like, that can be a sticky one. Rathnew now, you know, like, as we said, Ross is gone, you know, they mightn't have Mark the next day, Mark Doyle or whatever, you know, a few injuries, few bits and pieces. Like, Hollywood, after playing the Gers now, and they'll be coming into a Rathnew match, they won't fear it, you know?
Yeah, and like we said a couple of weeks ago, this is the good side of this format now. So you've got, okay, we're talking about that third place. It's valuable to everybody, of course it is, and fourth place is sacrosanct as well. So we've a really competitive round of football coming up, and most probably a final round in this group that's going to be absolutely competitive. Maybe the 3 games, you know, they could be all going for it in the 3 games. No dead rubbers, like, you know. So it's what we wanted. It's great, and it's going to be interesting to the end. On
kind of the way things were going, we thought after round 3 we know kind of where people are, and we don't.
It's out the window, yeah.
You know.
So it's all ahead of us, you know what I mean, and it's good for football in the county as well that these groups are that tight, that the people are not running away, and you know, as you said, like, you're looking at matches with dead rubbers. It's hard enough to get people out to good matches that are on there at the minute with the small crowds we're getting, unfortunately. But, like, you know, look, it'll be great that there'll be a big interest in those matches.
Yeah, so that's the end of Group 1. Alan, you tipped the Gers in that.
I did.
You got that right, and you tipped JP Hurley for man of the match, but I think we're going to give it to Dara Cullen.
Yeah.
The substitute come on and kicked 4 points.
And
that was the difference. At the end of it, 4 points of a difference.
Yeah.
So, yeah, well done, Dara. We'll move on to Group 2. The first game was on Saturday. It was Avondale against St. Pat's. St. Pat's came into this game 2 wins. Avondale came into this game with 2 wins. Avondale were the team that sort of captured the imagination a little bit, but Pat's put the swift stop to their march there.
Yeah, look at I was, you know, where do you start? I just suppose, look, Pat's just showed it was almost men against boys for a lot of the game, to be honest. They came out, they just set up the way Pats do. They put people in positions. I just think Avondale will have to look back on this one. You know, look, as I hold my hands up, I was on the line there myself. I didn't cover myself in glory every day, but to leave Tommy Kelly in so much space one-on-one with Saoirse, fantastic footballer. If I'd have been Saoirse, I'd have been pulling my hair out the other evening, because they just left him completely exposed with 30-35 yards of space in front of him. Like, the ball was popped in. I think Tommy ended up with 1-8, was it? You know, so I just think it was a little bit naive from Avondale's point of view, to be honest. You know, they moved the team around a little bit. They didn't seem to. It was almost like they had match-up start. Owen Baker started on Stephen Duffy, and after a few minutes he was gone. And, you know, Davy Baker, who had excelled at centre-back in the first 2 games, was moved out to wing-back. For me, who would have been perfect to sit back in front of Tommy, or, you know, Eugene Dunn came out as a third midfielder, but just came to the middle of the field. He didn't come any deeper. No one dropped in. And I just thought it looked like it was all a bit helter-skelter from him. And as we know with this Pats team, the game was gone before they could even reshape. Like, I think it was 2-8 to no score at one stage, even though Avondale rattled off the next 6 points. But look, it was a lesson, really. It was just a lesson in big boy football.
Yeah, I wasn't at it, and I haven't looked at the clips, and I got torn apart here 2 weeks ago, and I tried to wing it, having not watched the Pats game, so I'm not going to say anything specific about this one. But no, look, just looking at the scoreline, I feel, you know, it was the worry after the massive game for Avondale in the first, you know, is this it? And, like, I mean, I'm not saying it is by any stretch of the imagination. You know, you're talking about the champions, the current champions of the county, and, you know, not for no bad reason. They're there. They're a lot of people's favourites, including my own, for this year. And look, that was it was a big test. And okay, I suppose you're going to have to say they failed it. So we've had the absolute a fabulous win for Avondale. We've had a scrape through win for Avondale, which we thought would stand to them. This isn't going to stand to them, you know. So now it's a discussion on how to come back from that, and that's that's, I suppose, is the nature of sport. Like, I mean, we talked them up after the first game. We were right to, and now they have to face up to the fact there that they faced a real challenge there. Like, I mean, that was a real challenge. It might the last 3 games might cast a bit of light on how Baltinglass were going and how wonderful Avondale were in the first game, but that's not. Look, it was just that's your real test there, and it's a comprehensive win for Pats. So there's not a lot.
He done well for a man that wasn't at the game anyway.
It was all generalisations. Generalisations based on the one fact that I knew, which was the scoreline.
I'm going to say it as I see it now. I didn't get to see the game, but I looked back at the whole game after because I was away in Ashford. But with John, I think Avondale are in big trouble. Myself, I can't see them getting the win against Blessington. The way Blessington are moving, and then they have to go out and try to get a win again Bray. And Bray could possibly have got a win again Eire Og, the way things are going for Eire Og. Now, Eire Og could turn around and do a number on them, but they're under pressure as well. So with Bray beating Eire Og, they'll be on 4 points. And if Avondale lose their next game, they're still on 4 points. So it's coming down to the final show-how of winner takes all. Like that has happened nearly already in a few other
can't
games.
lose.
Can't lose.
No more than a winner takes all. It's a can't lose.
And look at the way Bray have been playing. They've racked up a good score against Blessington and lucky to lose maybe. They got B Pats, fair enough, right? But they put up some show at the weekend there, and I look.
I know we're talking about.
I'm not jumping away from them. But
we're talking about farm lines, and we spoke here about the amazing win that Avondale had against Ballinacor. That farm doesn't look good now. That's no disrespect to Baltinglass or anyone else. That farm just doesn't look good anymore. That win, it looks now that Baltinglass are in a little bit of trouble where they are. They're not playing well. They scraped over Eire Og, as we said, by 2 points on a bad night. And this was the acid test. These 2 matches we're going to see whether there was a corner turned or whatever for Avondale. And to me, look, I've lots of friends in Avondale. I adore the boys up there after being up there for a couple of years and everything else, but they just haven't turned the corner.
No.
And I just think the naivety that that someone on the field the other night didn't say, well, pick up my man, I'm going back to stand in front of Tommy. We can't keep letting this happen. It's just not, as we said before, you can't fill a bucket with a hole in it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's it was just happening. Pats, as we said, conceded 6 points in a row, and all of a sudden they just clicked back again, and everyone went back into their rhythm. But having said that, in fairness to Avondale, Pats are moving seriously well at the minute. They're moving seriously well.
Just to say, the Pats in their first game, they bet who in the first game?
Eire Og
by 5 points. Then they beat Bray by
14 to 10 points.
So 7 points. Then they come out to play. No disrespect, but everyone's been talking about Avondale. They come out and play Avondale and they blow them off the field.
Yeah, to win up 2-8 to no score.
Yeah,
and look, you can we give pats on the back. Tinahely, in my book, got 1 kick ahead the other night and got a goal. Dean wasn't at his powerful best either in the middle of the field, But they've just so many others to stand in. You've Padge McWalter, you'd Paul Earls put in a serious shift again.
Duffy
John Crowe went middle of the field. Stephen Duffy doing what he always does. Tommy kicks 1-8.
Probably one of the better John Crow's better games so far as well.
Yeah, Niall Donnelly back full back. It looked like he was never gone out of there. And then you look down along the list here, and at 25 you've Pádraig Higgins. At 29 you've Conor French.
Yeah.
Eamon Wolfe is on this line. Donny Fitzgerald wasn't tugged out. Johnny Delahunt.
And they have a massive panel.
You know what I mean? Paul O'Brien played in the county final last year, was very good at wing forward around half hour. So what I mean? You have to take it into context as well. You're up against a fair outfit there.
Yeah, and I suppose even as well, Shane Doyle, the goalkeeper, his kickouts are hitting the far 65. He's laying a platform for them straight away.
And made 2 great saves as well near the end. And we can say Avondale had 3 very good goal chances as well, but I suppose one of them wasn't until it was 2-5 to no score. Conor McGrainer rattled the crossbar. Again, when your luck was against you, it didn't go over or under. It came back out 25 yards down the field. You know what I mean? And then there was a double save from Shane there near the end as well.
I think Sean Glenn hit the crossbar. Saved onto the crossbar.
Saved onto the crossbar as well. So look at that. You can point to that, I suppose. But it's a perilous one enough now for Avondale facing Blessington next, because they don't want that to happen again. You don't want it to ship. You had a great win over Baltinglass. Your score difference looked great. Now you're back to -5 or 6 again. all shipped one day.
Yeah.
You know, and like you can't afford to be there, and you just can't afford to let it happen again Blessington, because if you take 2 defeats into that Bray game, the Bray don't look to be getting any worse.
No.
They're improving every day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't want to be going there.
That's it. I mean, look, it's not all complete and utter doom and gloom for Avondale. They have 4 points, right? There's a lot of teams in the county would be delighted to have 4 points right now.
4 points to Newtown or Eire Og at the minute.
Absolutely, and they can and all off you. Like, look, they're going against Blessington. They're probably one of the teams that are, if they play to their potential, they have the capacity to deal with Blessington, who have size everywhere and are, you know, they're a daunting prospect for any team that's not got kind of big wing backs, wing forwards, and that's, you know, Avondale have that. And as we said, they have to approach that game with a view to self-preservation and not ending up in a 4 points apiece between themselves and Bray, winner takes all for 3rd and 4th place in the last round.
Yeah, and I just don't think, as you said, it has to be self-preservation now. You have to set up on the side of, you know, having to stick this out and get to a quarter final, and that's the way I'd be looking. And look, Avondale have 4 points. If Baltinglass had 4 points this minute, we'd probably tip them to go through because they're Baltinglass.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like that's where you're looking at. You know, as we said, it's not all doom and gloom. It's just a few tweaks here and there, and you know, there could be bang there still.
And we're not here. We're not here as to tear the back off anyone either. We're just saying it as we see it, and that's me.
That's it.
That's me, just the opinion, like, you know. And
Well, we will tear the back off.
We'll start on that right now, Emmet. We'll go to your opinion. You tipped Avondale to win this game, and you gave man the match to Podge McWalter from Pats. And I think there's only one man going to get this one anyway, Emmet.
Yeah, well, it has to be Tommy K.
Yeah.
Tommy K.
1-8. So he gets the man the match in this one. So you're unfortunate there, Alan.
Sure, look, it's okay. You know, you didn't have to read it out. You could have moved on to the next game there.
No. We have them all here now.
Was I wrong? 100%.
200%.
Right.
I think you want to say there. Yeah. So we move on. The game then on Sunday morning. Blessington 2-14 to 1-4 winners over Eire Og. Blessington got on top early in this game and kept going with it. Alan, they pushed through. A few big players played well for them and fired them over the line. Got 2 goals in the first half, and that was it. Like, you know,
the 2 goals right up there before 9 minutes on the clock. They were in cruise control here from the get go. You know, they were Whacker behind a massive performance in the first half. Now he did rack up a good few wides as well himself. I'm sure he will admit, but they were comfortable from start to finish. They're a massive outfit. They are. Murray has it moving very well. Him and Gavin Wynn there, whatever they're doing it right.
They seem to be just creeping
They're
along.
just, as I said, they're doing little jobs right. There's nothing too glamorous about it, like, and that's not being disrespectful either. Like, but they're moving throughout the field from 1 to 15. They know their job.
Yeah, like I think, as we said, we've just spent the last 10 or 15 minutes talking about Pats and Avondale.
Yeah.
Blessington are there 3 from 3. You know, we haven't seemed to hit on it at all. As you said, they've crept up there. They're top of the group. They're lying in wait. You know, they're probably going to be through now. Looking at, I know they still have Pats to play, but 6 points should be enough to get them through. And like, you know, they're one of those teams that can take anyone on their day as well. Like, there'll be no one who'll want to play them in a quarter final or semi final either. Like, you know.
No, well, like, there are a few massive performances there. Bowen, was it? Stephen Bowen, he played very, very well. And Gavin Murray put in a massive shift. Owen Keogh, middle of the field there, 2 of them. They're just the size of them. Like, you know, like Owen Keogh, I think, got racked up 1-2. Gavin Murray fisted over a ball, could have had a goal, but didn't need it. You know, they kept the scoreboard going very very comfortable. Going very comfortable, you know.
And again, like, they're plus 19 there on their scores. You know, plus 19 is very good at this stage. You know, it's a mouth-watering prospect with them and Pats. Again, we haven't alluded to the fact Pats still have to play Blessington and Baltinglass in this group as well. So, you know, if there is going to be a chink found in Pats, it'll be in the next couple of weeks, you know. But the other way of looking at that is they're 2 great games coming into the business end of a championship as well.
Exactly what you want, for
yeah,
isn't it? Like,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, but not taking that away from Eire Og. Fair play to them. They're there. They're working hard. They're putting in the games. They're putting in the effort. Like, Still, Chester, we mentioned Chester the whole time. Sean Lawless is not back either. Roney popped up with the goal. Darren Hayden got most of the other few scores from dead balls.
Relied on frees in that game, I think.
But they did rely on a lot of frees. But Blessington won 18 frees to 12. But Blessington also kicked 12 wides to 5. And still scored.
Well, I think that's just a measure of Eire Og's style of play, the way they're having to play as well. That they're not actually up in the business end of the field that much. The way they're playing defensively, they're trying to hand the break. They're depending on a few scores and a good few frees, and it's just how the games are panning out for them as well. So, but look, Blessington moving seamlessly there as well. So they're going well. Like as you said, Mick Murray and Gavin Wynne seem to be doing the trick up there. So it's another good win for them.
It is, a very good win. They 3 from 3, moving along nicely in their championship group so far.
I think I tipped Blessington to win that one as well, didn't I?
Well done, That's one of the ones he got right over the weekend. One of the ones, easy ones to remember. Patrick O'Connor, you tipped for man the match, but I think the consensus.
He was on the periphery of it now. I have to say that now.
I'm going to remember that word for the junior because I know what's coming at me later.
Right.
On the periphery, work away.
But we're giving it to Onkyo.
Yeah, Onkyo gets man the match.
And I gave that to him myself personally.
You're very good.
Forgot who.
If you're listening on, that's one to remember.
He actually forgot who he backed. So the next game in this group, the final game of the weekend in the Thunder and Lightning and Rain and Ockram, seen a great win for Bray Emmet against Baltinglass. 2-7 Baltinglass scored, Bray Emmet 3-11. Baltinglass leading at half time. Bray came back with 2 thunderbolts of goals. Alan, there were
rockets.
As we said, it left Baltinglass thunderstruck.
Thunderstruck in Ockram, nearly dark. Thunder and lightning, rain, with the whole job locked there now. Reminded me being like a Bon Jovi concert there years ago up in the RDS. It was epic, I thought this was a fantastic game. A fantastic game. Like Baltinglass got off to such a start, minute and 30 on the clock goal. Then they tried to push on from there, but Bray got into a rhythm. So they did, and they just kept at him. They wouldn't go away. I tell you one thing, Bray surprised me with they had some grit and determination in them, and like glad to say, Townies usually wouldn't stand up to the mark. I tell you one thing, for anyone that was at that game, they proved everyone wrong. They were there because like Baltinglass are no pushovers. They're a tough outfit.
They're a big physical team. Bray are a big physical team. They don't get as much credit for it, but they're a fine team.
I think it's Niall McGrainer, is it?
Yeah.
He come up along the line in the first half with a ball, and he met Pat Burke, and it was like 2 Clydesdales hitting each other now. And poor old Pat Burke got a little bit shell shocked and had to go.
You're going to have to explain that to people not from as agricultural as us what Clydesdales are.
The Budweiser
ad. The Budweiser ad. They're 2 fine lumps of animals hitting each other anyway. But and
like John there from Kilcoole, he might know it,
But and Niall came out on top, and Burke had to go off, and that was a big loss. Like they were already missing Mikey English, and it was a big loss.
But I suppose the sort of the biggest moment in the game came just in injury time in the first half. There was a penalty given to Bray, which Des Kelly dispatched superbly, and Baltinglass went down to 14 for the rest of the game. That was a second yellow. It had a black card. It had to be done. He was going to pull the trigger for a goal anyway, I think, Alan, at the time, and I think he had to take one for the team there to try stop the goal. But
he did, yeah.
He was down to put Baltinglass down to 14 for the second half, being with a massive stormy weather in Ockram.
And as I say,
again, look, it seems Baltinglass, it was nearly, I won't say a carbon copy of the Blessington game, but like 5 points up, lose a player or two, everything seems to be going again. You pick up an injury, pick up a card at the end of, when your luck is down, like, and the game turns on its head, and you end up losing the game by what?
5 points, yeah.
5 points, 6 points, and it's a game that we're banged there in again, and it just looks like when like nothing's going right for them at the minute. You can
say the exact same thing. It's just when your luck's out, and when the year's not going for you, it's just not going for you. And Baltinglass have had that sort of year. Like we said, the last day they made changes to try and maybe inject a bit of energy in it. Did the same again. Tom Burke was out to midfield, as you say, Kevin, and look. went in, lead, got themselves into a lead, got themselves into a position. But when you're in that, you're sensitive, and it's never as convincing. Like if your year is not going well, a lead in the hands of Pats and a lead in the hands of a team that just needs it so badly can sometimes work a bit against you, or not against, just work a bit differently. And look, unfortunately for Baltimore, it's twice in a row. As you said, they've been in the lead in 2 games in a row, lost the 2 of them, and look, it's a tough couple of games for them ahead now. Like.
Yeah, I think so.
That's next.
Yeah.
So, there's nothing easy there. You can, but look, 6 weeks ago they played them in the league final. We're leading with 7 or 8 minutes to go. They were leading by 2 or 3 points. So, they haven't become that bad a team in 6 or 7 weeks. I know the results haven't went their way. It's not, but they'll have to. They'll just have to. Give yourself, as we said before, it's self-preservation. Now, give yourself a chance to win the game. Don't go total football again, Pats, and get caught and leave spaces that you shouldn't leave. Try and keep yourself in the game, and look, they'll need to try and get a couple of points from somewhere on the board.
Well, I think that the victory in the league kind of just brings us back to something we talked about before, which is that we're into 2 completely different competitions now. Over the years, maybe we all kind of melded them in together, and the league was ongoing during the championship, and you had similar teams. It just shows what the teams that during the league maybe don't have as many, in certain years don't have as many lads involved with county teams or hurling teams involved that are playing football for your club. Baldo probably got through a good year there where they didn't have too many people away from them. They had a good.
You don't need the goalkeeper.
Yeah, so good strong squad in that league. They were a great traditional, great culture up there. So they go for that league and won it and rightly so. It wouldn't take a lot from it that they bet Pats in that final. If Pats have a whole other programme of time ahead of them, they're aiming for a big game in whatever late September and late October, and the signs are on it now. Pats have all their, what do we say, 35 lads on the squad there, God knows how many togged out.
All their wagons in a row.
All their wagons in a row and whatever, but so it's another discussion, but I don't take too much from that. Your league form and championship now, it's so different now. Years ago it wasn't, but
no, it is. It is gone very competitive. It really is. Cause some of the clubs there are down a few. Some are down a lot more than others for their county, as you hit on there. And if you're going to go to try, you have a look at them to see what are they about. You're only wasting your time.
You're not getting a lot.
No, you're not.
A game in April isn't going to teach you too much about a game in July or August.
But I tell you, this group is not over yet. We're nearly finished up on this one anyway, but if other results go the way, we could say here what way we want them to go, if Baltinglass won their last 2 games, let's say they went out and bet Pats, right, and they're certainly going to try, right, and then they go and beat Eire Og. Oh, imagine now they're on 4 points, right, then you've Bray here now to me, you've Avondale on 4 points as well at the minute, and you've Bray going in to play the last 2 games, and if they get 2 points out of that, they're 4, right, so then you've three on it, and then she comes into a mess.
Yeah, well,
this
the only
group
thing
is back
is
alive.
Baltinglass or Eire Og can't pass Avondale on the head-to-head.
No.
They can't pass them. Even with 4 points, they can't pass them now.
But if there's 3 on 4 points,
yeah,
I'm not sure what way that goes.
It'll still be head-to-head.
Is it still head-to-head?
Yeah.
Right.
I think. Well, score difference, obviously, in head-to-head, but...
Yeah, well, we'll have to ask the powers that be now, because some we could be saying one thing and we mean the other.
This group gets interesting. We talked about it being a bit more clear cut in this group over the last few weeks, but it's now getting interesting, because you couldn't keep 3 teams winning every week, because ultimately they meet each other. So that thing of 3 teams winning the first match and 3 teams losing, and then the same 3 winning the second match and the same 3 losing, that can't happen a third time, because ultimately, so it's exactly what's happened now. It's split. So Avondale now have lost 1. It's two teams still going winning all their games, and like you say, there's chinks of light there for teams. There's 3rd and 4th place now up for grabs. So this group gets interesting as well. There's lots of connotations here and in the other group as well. So all good for us now. Next 2 rounds.
Definitely.
Well, I took Baltinglass on that one for the win anyway.
Yeah, and you tipped Peter Burke for man of the match, and that went to Des Kelly. I think he's also, is he the Bray captain as well? So the Bray, or the captains from teams are standing up to the plate here, I think, at the moment.
You have to stop making predictions over your shit head.
Lad, we need something to talk about. Right, and if Jeremy brings a little bit of life to you, lads, I'm happy to take that role.
So just
Okay.
just before we move on to the intermediate, we let Alan recover himself here. He's very upset here. Besides, we're going to take a quick ad break. The competition, Alan, did you want to mention about the tickets that we have for coming up?
Yes, coming this weekend again, boys, we have, and girls out there, we have 2 free tickets to 2 matches in Ockram Saturday evening, or the 3 in Ockram. There's 2 actually in Ockram Sunday and 1 in Arthur Sunday morning in the hurling. So all you have to do, as what we done last week, is like and share the podcast when it's up on Facebook.
And you could be on winning streak.
Yeah. And no, we've nothing to do with winning streak. But we will be announcing at noon again on Friday. Yeah. But we'll announce the other competition there when we come back after the break here.
Yeah.
We'll be chattering and nattering in the garden county shed. But if a decent match comes up, then we'll do that instead.
Winners Enclosure Bookmakers, your local independent bookmaker. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat and Instagram for all our daily specials and enhanced odds. Phone us on 1890 429 863.
Murphy's Liquidation Furniture and Garden County Sport. We'll be chattering and nattering in the garden county shed. But if a decent match comes up, then we'll do that instead.
Winners Enclosure Bookmakers, your local independent bookmaker. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat and Instagram for all our daily specials and enhanced odds. Phone us on 1890 429 863.
Murphy's Liquidation Furniture and Garden County Sport.
So now we're going to move on to the intermediate football championship. There was 2 games in Group 1 on Friday night. Ballymanus 115 to 9 points winners over Annacurra, and Coolkenno 215 to 8 points over Laragh in Arklow. So Emmet, I suppose we'll start with Coolkenno, a top of the table clash between 2 teams on 4 points, Coolkenno and Laragh. You were at this the first 20 minutes was the...
I suppose the first 15-20 minutes, Coolkenno came out and blew Laragh completely out of the water. I mean, it was so one-sided, you wouldn't actually think it was a top of the table clash for a long period of time. And again, there was a second yellow picked up for Damien O'Hanlon, didn't help the cause, but it was just... Coolkenno looked a serious outfit, you know. They looked strong in every line, They just look a really good team at the minute, and to be fair, it's the first big bump in the road for Laragh with Techie Byrne. It'll be interesting to see how they come back from it. I mean, that group is not that easy looking now, the way things are lining up in it, and really, to me, Coolkenno looked a team that could go all the way in this championship on Friday night's performance. Anyway, it was just a tour de force, to be honest. I mean, if anyone else had Don Jackman in their team, they'd probably have him around the middle of the field for a while and then come in. He's full forward, that's it, you know. You had Pádraig Coleman in beside him, Conor Walker in the full forward line, their half forward line like Ben Jackman, Owen Dolan, Eamon Rossiter, Conor Doyle and Jim Cush, middle of the field. Yeah, it was a serious. They just looked to have strength in every line. And to be honest, just they swatted away a Laragh team that just didn't have any answers to them.
They did, and they really did swat him away. They were on cruise control there from start to finish as well. Laragh have looked impressive enough.
Look, it's just as I said, it was a flat night for Laragh. I don't know, to be honest. I just think, I think Stephen Cush, he just had them set up with 5 minutes to go in this game. This game was put to bed, but Coolkenno were still tackling, they were still turning over ball, they were still, they were hurting lads. They weren't being, but it was just, their tackling was so intense. You could see the Laragh lads, they were just, it was almost blow the whistle, will you, and let me go home. What I mean? And that's just how it looked like, and that's no disrespect to Laragh, teams can do that to you sometimes, but I just thought it was a real strong performance from Coolkenno. I thought they were very, very good from start to finish.
And I look back at the video of it now because it wasn't at that, but it looked to me that Cush outwitted Decky. I think he got his matchups right.
He got his matchups right, and I think, it was almost like Eamon Rossiter was wing forward. They brought David Miley back David Miley looked to be their only scoring threat, even from wing back, to be fair to him. You know, he was very good. But like, they took him out of forwards to come back on Eamon, but they just couldn't handle their hard running all over the field as well. You know, I think I said it to you, like, Ben Jackman was immense for 15 minutes. Every score that Coolkenno got was almost like, you can say it was Paul Galvin-esque. You know, he's like, he won't, you know, I don't want to say, but like, he's not the tidiest looking footballer in the world. I'm not going to, but his tackling, his hard running, his fielding, everything. You know, he was on the end of everything, and he didn't score out of 2:15. And I think he was taken off halfway through the second half. He was on a yellow card. He picked up a yellow card now. But like, for me, he was man of the match. You know, he was unbelievable for that first 20 minutes. Just every score that Coolkenno went through his hands. And
I didn't like to hear that statement.
No, but they just couldn't live with him.
No, you went with Eamon Roster in this one.
Indeed, yeah. I thought he was going to get it. He actually got it off someone else that was at it, and I was a bit taken back.
You were getting excited, right?
I was.
Well, Emmet had the duty of picking the official man of the match from Garden County Sports, so you were unlucky there, Alan, I suppose.
Yeah, but look, it's just honest, and as I said, if you asked me about Coolkenno's full back line, I couldn't really tell you. They weren't tested because it was just such a strong performance that the ball wasn't going in there. They were completely dominant all over the field. As I said, it'll be interesting to see how Laragh bounce back from this one now, because, you know, I could hear their half-time talk. They weren't happy. They weren't, you know, they were having a go. Like, they were trying to G one another up. And to be fair, they came out in the second half and they had a right go for 10, 12 minutes, but just with the man down, they weren't able to sustain it, and Coolkenno kicked on again. And again, look, Don Jackman, huge target man, but Conor Walker is a serious corner forward at this level. Well, you know, Harry Coleman the same in the other corner. Like, they have a lot of footballers all over the field there. You know, they're very strong. Well,
Laragh have come into this now and they're on 4 points. I think they're seriously up again. Now I'm going to make a bold call here. They've Kilmacanogue next, and they've Ballymanus last. And they're fighting for third place, you could say, at the minute. Like, the Billies are after getting the win over Annacurra. They're on 2 points. I think Laragh could possibly finish up in no man's land on 4th place, and the Billies could finish in 3rd. After their good win again on Annacurra, they were very hard to win again Coolkenno. They were down player early in the game. They put up a massive gutsy performance and missed the penalty. And they were unlucky enough again. I got strong Kilmac side where they kicked a lot of wides. One or two other big players. Mark Kenny on the day was one of his worst games he's had through the whole year, you could nearly say, you know. And has he got it out of his system? Yes, he certainly has, after the way he played at the weekend anyway.
Yeah, I suppose we'll try cover the two games in this one. I suppose Ballymanus 115 9 points winners over Annacurra. Some of these players seem to have the freedom of Ockram and just seem to be more grit, more determination in the game, Alan.
You can call a spade here all you want. You know, Annacurra were bet from 1 to 15. They were on every corner of the field. They were bet. They didn't. Once again, 2 minutes 40 on the clock. Missed a goal. You know, people have been saying, the line teams out wrong. The cold hard fact of it is they need to regroup. They're a tired team. They're depleted on numbers. Missed get 1 or 2 injuries. We're not able to fill the void. Was there 1 or 2 lads played out of position again? Maybe. But it's easy for us to say where we are, you know. But don't forget, out of 116, Ballymanus scored 113 from play.
Yeah, and look, I seen a few of the clips. I was in Arklow at the Coolkenno match, but I just seen a few of the clips, and one thing that stood out to me over the course of what I seen at it was they just weren't laying a hand on Ballymanus. Yep. There was scores went from one end of the field to the other that, you know, there was fellas running into acres of space with no one either coming to meet them or no one running after them even, and it just looked like, as you said, they just looked tired. It looked from early on in the game that the head was down and it was going to be a hard sell to get anything out of it.
It did, and it didn't look like one of the local derbies of all, because the refereeing in it, it was certainly left low. It was set up for a local derby, for a real dust up, you know, and it didn't.
And look, that's one thing you can't say about Annacurra teams, like that they don't live for that. You know what I mean? Yeah. So look, as I said, they are where they are now. But look, Ballymanus, you have to say, you know, last year Ballymanus got caught. They were top of the group. Everything was going great.
Then third place.
Yeah,
In
you know what I
Wallop,
mean.
yeah.
They got beaten on the Sunday night. I think ended up in third place. The quarter final was the following Friday or Saturday, and they were gone. You know, so they went from Sunday morning being top of the group to being gone by, you know, in less than a week. So maybe the way they're coming this time will suit them better, that they're coming right at the right time and they're building up. You know, as I said, look, when you seen Coolkenno the other night, when I seen Coolkenno the other night how against Laragh, you know, the Ballymanus form against Coolkenno doesn't look so bad. You know what I mean? To get bet by a point, miss a penalty, be down a man. You know, like it doesn't look like bad form on the face of things. So
I suppose we would just mention if a few Ballymanus players, like the full backline for Ballymanus were exceptional, really. Like and they played Sean O'Neill, who has been a defender for most of his life. Played him full forward, and like he put in a serious shift. I think he won, you could say 75 or 80% of the balls went into him and laid him off, set up scores. And their main I consider him one of their main scoring threats in Patrick Byrne. He dropped out into midfield and he had a great game.
He did. Well, I picked out 3 potential man of the matches in this, and he was in it, like, because I'm not calling you pound for pound in the county.
you were giving yourself a good chance.
I was giving myself a good chance here, all right. But he come out.
No, he wasn't.
He come out over, I think it was either John Hynes or Paul Mack one of the times, and he caught a ball one-handed over their head under where the referee is at the middle box in the middle of the field, and he had no business getting it. And that's no disrespect to yourself there, John, but like he had no business getting to it, but he still got to it, and like he has power, and but his spring he's not that tall of a guy, but like he's some man to field the ball, and like he can sell you left or right with a solo, and he has it everywhere. And look, I'm not trying to put him up on the pedestal or anything here, but like he had a massive game.
Personally, the two of us had a conversation a couple of weeks ago about if you were to name 3 forwards in the county that aren't on the county that you think should be on it.
He was our first one.
He was our first one,
yeah.
And his clubmate Rowan Lynch was our second.
Yeah.
So there's 2 out of 6, and we've a
serious team, like,
yeah. 2 serious forwards. Tommy Kelly was the third, I think we settled on. So there's 3 serious forwards that fit well into the county team. So Padraig Byrne was one of your man the matches.
Padraig Byrne, Shawnee O'Neill and Mark Kenny, and I gave it to Mark Kenny.
And you tipped
Garrod.
You tipped an Annacurra win and Garrod Murphy, so you were doubly wrong on that one as well.
I was never going to back you in my own team anyway, but sure. Yeah.
No, that's the way it goes. Monday evening, there's a bit of a break between Saturday and Sunday. Monday evening, Kilmac 2-13 to 2-7 winners over Ballinacor. Ballinacor, got an early goal in this one. Sort of put the cat amongst the pigeons. Did a tough little first spell there, Alan, and came out on top at the end of it.
They did, but one lad we've been hitting on the whole time through their first 3 games is your man Sam Callahan. Again, 6 points. Now 5 of them from dead balls, 4 frees and 145. But I hit him in the first game again in Annacurra. You just cannot give these a scoring threat of a dead ball because he's phenomenal off the ground, isn't he? Like, he is lethal. But look, they've a good, well balanced team. Ballinacor, fair play to them. They're under violent pressure, and there's no doubt about it. Equally the same, as they're in the same position as Annacurra. But like, there's still always one team that might turn over.
That's a battling performance against Kilmac there, to be fair to them. You know,
and of a Monday, of a bank holiday weekend, when they know, but Kilmac know that they're trundling along the way they want to go. Like, Ballinacor know where they are. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And you try to get them out of a Monday evening, a bank holiday weekend. A fair play. You know, it is.
You know, no, it's a big battling performance. Like, and again, if you were with Ballinacor, you don't want to be in the position you're in, but you'd like to see that kind of a performance coming as well, because, you know, you have big tasks ahead of you in the next couple of games, you know, and it looks like you might be in a relegation as well, barring you pull something out of it.
Well, I can't look at it. The way at the minute it's looking is like it's going to be Annacurra and Ballinacor in the relegation. Who gets bottom and who gets second bottom, and that's just to play crisscross at the other side.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, and look, and that's the way it's looking at the minute, Harry. But like, as I said, you'd like to see a little bit of form coming through. You know what I mean? You don't, you know, again, like, you don't want to be down there because that's a melting pot. You know what I mean? Anything could happen there. Yeah. You know, can Rathnew go down from the other side?
Rathnew, yeah.
They can.
Yeah, the others can't go up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no,
I suppose another thing to mention there for Kilmac, Simon Doyle, normally their playmaker, he chipped in with an important goal as well. So, like, things are going right for you. They're starting to go right.
But don't forget, like they got to a semi-final last year. They were they unlucky? Tinahely were the stronger on the day, but like Tinahely scored 2-2 at the end of the first half with about 3 minutes. And like that's.
And I think Kilmac had a lot of pressure on Tinahely near the end
no,
of that
they
game
did,
as well.
but
They
they
were
did,
rattling
like,
at them,
yeah.
so they're not that far away. So
No, they're not. They're not. They're a good, well balanced team. They've a lot of youth on it. They haven't got a whole lot of early lads on it. Like and they're fit as fiddles. Big
again, this
soccer
group
heads.
is looking like second, third, fourth. It's looking like it's going to come down to a serious shootout there in the next few matches to see who gets who gets up there. And like don't rule the others out from pulling the wool out from under the rug out from under someone either. I wouldn't rule any of those teams out.
The biggest game in this, I suppose, is going to be, before we finish up with this group, it's going to be probably Kilmac and Coolkenno to see who gets top spot of glory and go straight to the semi-final, and that's the last game of that group.
Laragh Kilmac is a big one the next round.
That's
a massive game.
That's
in
what I
the
heard
next
earlier.
round,
And that's like if Laragh lose that and Ballymanus win, they're going to frugly each other there.
And Ballymanus will have it on the head-to-head.
And then they'll come down to the last game.
Ballymanus.
So it's all very interesting in Group 1 as well. Like there's lots to unfold there as well.
So So at the moment we've Coolkenno and Kilmac on 6 points, Laragh on 4 against Ballymanus on 2, and Annacurra and Ballinacor yet to score, with Ballymanus still to play Laragh, as we mentioned there. So that's all to play for in that group. We move on to Group 2, which seen 2 games on Friday and 1 on Saturday. Friday night, Donard Glen bet Stratford 3-11 to 1-9 in a local Western derby. Alan Daly scored 1-3 in that one, Alan, and he was the difference in the end.
He got back onto the scoring charts, as I'd say, because he didn't score the previous day. And I think they had Liam Mullen was brought out around the middle of the field, and he got on the scoring charts as well. But Conor Healy, I think he opened up his scoring campaign with 1-1. And like he's a big player for them, and he's a lad that they need to get him on. They need to get him scoring. I think he does be hampered a little bit with leg injuries there, but he's a super athlete for them. He is a super athlete.
Liam Monaghan chipped in with 3 points. We've seen Liam playing in the
very stylish
league
player,
final
very
against
stylish
Kilcoole. Very good footballer. He chipped in with 3 points as well. Donard, they picked that's their first points of the campaign. I think
it is. It is. They were unlucky not to win against Carnew. They were bet well the last day, and they won in this one. But like Stratford there as well, they're still like the 1-9 as well. Like they're clocking up there. I think they had a lad sent off early enough through the game. I think it was a bit of a heated battle, but it was always going to be. Like you're out in the west, as the lad says there, and 2 teams there from the west. Again,
like there's Stratford, and you look, you've lost 3 games out of 3, but you're only minus 15 in your scoring charts as well. So they're putting it up. They're putting it up to teams. They're bang there, and they're just not getting results out of them. As I said, they're themselves in Rathnew. They're well capable of taking a scalp at some stage. If someone's not on their game in that group, like they're well capable of still putting the cat among the pigeons there.
Yeah, I was in the shop there the last 10 minutes. Did I miss it?
You were going over to meet Grenell there, were you?
No, look, fair play to Donard. They put themselves right back into the mix because of the layout at the bottom, like from 5th or 2nd down to 6th. You throw a blanket over them at the minute, and Donard put themselves right back in it. They have a massive derby in the next game against Dunlavin, and yeah, they're right back there. Fair play to them. Stratford, it probably at this stage looks as though they're in the melting pot. You don't want to be in themselves in the relegation battle, but no, fair play to Donard. They're right back in it now.
Sorry, I forgot you were actually here, John. But
yeah, that's all right.
Yeah, no, we'll hear as much about that as we can, really.
I suppose we'll move on to the next one. Donard then opened their accounts and badly needed. The next game on Friday night was Carnew 3-6, Rathnew 1-8. Carnew getting over the line there to keep pressure on Kilcoole and
they have got, but one thing that is still disappointing me, they're not scoring enough. Like 6 points, it's not good enough. Like they've got the 3 goals, but I think some of them come late on. And I think like poor old Rathnew, they have 3 teams there. They're under pressure for numbers. I think they started with 14.
They started with 14. Like
They
that'd
got
be
a man
my,
to come
like it's 9 scores apiece.
Yeah.
It's not good enough. Like I think 1-4 that came from Kiltegan as well. The 2 McRae's chipped in with the rest of it.
Well, that's exactly
Yeah. So like but that's not that's not really good enough against like 13 men for most of the second half as well. I just think that they'll need to pull up their socks a bit. Like
we were singing their praises at the start through their league campaign of what they were putting up hurling scores in football matches. Like they went down to Annacurra and scored 3-14 or something like that, however it was, or 4-14. Like they have to be scoring more than 6 points. Like goals win.
I'd just be worried. I'd be worried that after the last couple of weeks there, maybe they've hit a flat spot. Maybe the Jewel thing is catching up on them a little bit. I don't know. Or is the freshness gone out of them a bit? But look, they went up there Friday night. Look, all you can say about it is they got to win. Really and truly, there's 2 points on the board out of it. Again, like they're sitting in third place, but they're -6 in their scoring charts as well. I know the heavy defeat from Dunlavin wouldn't have helped that, but I just think that they'll have to get things a little bit better together, to be honest, if they're going to figure or be anywhere near where they were last year. Again, this time last year you probably wouldn't have said that you could see them in the final. So like maybe they're timing their run a bit better. Week on, week off, hurling can't be helping. Are they getting time to work with stuff? But then that's dual club problem, so that's going to be there.
Well, I still tipped them at the start of the year for it now, and I'm not going to go away from them. I'm going to stay loyal with them. Because the next game they have against Stratford, like you could say they'll be facing 2 points there. They'll be looking at getting 2 points, bring them up to 6 points on the chart, because their last game is against Kilcoole. And I think it's going to be between Kilcoole and Dunlavin to top the group, or then Carnew get a win, and they could be facing them and Kilcoole to top the group.
But just looking at that match against Stratford is in Kiltegan.
Yeah, that's
a tight pitch.
Yeah,
that's not going to be, summer football at its best. I'd say that's going to be
for
tight.
The faint-hearted,
that's going to be tight. Yeah. A trappy affair enough. I know Stratford are where they are, but as we're alluding to, they're not getting hockeyed. They're not getting bay out the gate either. So I think that could be a tight one enough. If Carnew were not on their game in that one, I could see that one getting a little bit hairy if they're not really ready out and up for it.
Yeah.
Look, the year Carnew have had up to now in football, and from the football in terms, like nothing else but a win is going to do in this. You've Hickey managing it, as we said. We can't keep going back to the league. And the one who said a few minutes ago, the league form kind of differs slightly from, but we talked about last year, like Brendan McRae is only coming back now. He wasn't there last year, and he cannot be weakening your scoring prospects, so they have to sort that out and sort it out quickly, But nothing else but a win will do, because as you say, the last game's Kilmacanogue, and that's going to be it could be winner takes all in that,
Yeah. It looks to be a big game, but as I said, it's almost like since Kiltegan and Brendan McRae came back, the Carnew have sort of lightened on their defensive duties. They're almost saying, sure, the boys are there.
Yeah.
The one thing they were built on last year, their defence was very hard to break down. They were very strong. And I just think whatever's went on since, it's like they took a step back a bit on the defensive duties. But look, they're bang there they're in third with 4 points. A win against Stratford.
Winning against Stratford has been a very, very good bracket.
Yeah,
it does.
Yeah.
And that's what I said. Then the last game will come down against Kilcoole, which that's a massive game.
Potentially.
Yeah, potentially, yes.
Yeah, we'll move on to Kilcoole. Kilcoole were beaten by Dunlavin 1-15 to 1-13. The scoreline doesn't really say the whole story about the game. It just says it was a good scoring game, but it came down to the last minute of it. John, you were at it there.
Yeah, myself and Tub were at it. Look, I don't want to be biased, but I probably one of the best games I watched this year in the championship. It was an absolutely fabulous game of football. It was a dry evening. We were down at Ashford, good crowd, had a good atmosphere at it. I'll say it out from the start. Bats refed it really well. It contributed to the game that we had. But Kilcoole kind of came of age a bit there last Saturday. They followed the track, the well-worn track there. Laragh coming up from Junior A. Kilmacanogue coming up from Junior A, and they followed that track. They've come into the championship, and they had 2 wins out of 2 up to this. Ultimately, okay, they lost it, but it was they might have caught Dunlavin on the hop a wee bit. You know, I don't know, did Dunlavin maybe underestimate them, but Kilcoole played absolutely fabulous football. Now, equally, Dunlavin had to play good football to win it. So I don't want to be looking at this all through Kilcoole side of the glass. Like Dunlavin ultimately won it, and won it with a goal, you know, a penalty in the 4th minute of injury time. You know, that's a massive win for them. You know, they came out of the fire. Tupper said it was the 6th minute of injury time, and again, there was no argument that there was 6 minutes of injury time to be played, and the penalty was just one of those ones that gets called. There was no argument from the sideline, so there's no question about it. But like, I mean, you know, if you're there,
busy getting sick, I think they were.
Yeah, but I think if you're there looking at your psychology of matches, my God, like, they can, Bowie up there can be looking at that going, he can tear the head off them for the mistakes they made, but back in the back of his mind, he say, we pulled that out of the fire. Kieran Dutton and Kilcoole, like, I mean, they were absolutely excellent for so much of that game. Like, I mean, the game, like, Dunlavin got off to a good start. They got 3 points up, like, but then after that,
and a goal is
allowed. But after that, it was, level point. The lead probably changed hands. I'm not even going to try and guess how many times. It was level at half time. We come out to second half.
No, at half time it was 8 points to 11.
Was it 8?
No,
1-8 to 11.
You're missing a goal. Yeah.
Sorry, you're right. Yes.
Level at half time. That's all right.
Well done, John.
Level at half time, back out, second half. It was a fabulous game of football. There was everything in it. There was great forward play, there was tight back play, there was, non-stop. It was the speed of it, the fitness of the two teams. But Tubber, you.
Yeah, I just have a few bits of stats here.
Like to score at half time.
Yeah, well, I know I missed the order, but Dunlavin kicked 13 wide, right? Kilcoole kicked 4. Like, people say, Dunlavin were attacking strong. They were attacking strong. Kilcoole's backs were absolutely excellent. The whole 6 of them, they were a well orchestrated unit. Everyone, they knew their job, who was taking who and what they were doing. Like, Cian Sullivan started again centre forward. Massive job done on him. There was. Now, he still chipped in, like, he done the damage near the very end, like, with the penalty and a score straight after that. But like, in the second half there are things like Daniels will be looking at. Like, they went in, they got their second score in the second half after 7.5 minutes. They didn't score again until the 26th minute, right? And in that time, they'd also racked up 6 wides, and they were shaky. They were rattled. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, they were definitely rattled because of the fact that they've probably worked out a lot of the teams that played this year and bet a lot of the teams that played this year convincingly. But if I was being from my side, the one line I was slightly concerned for with Kilcoole was the full back line, not necessarily because they're bad footballers, but that's where Dunlavin have done a huge amount of damage this year. They've kind of had Cian O'Sullivan and O'Rourke and
Shane O'Rourke, and they have to take him off and
bring
him back on.
And they've moved these guys around a bit. They've used space well. They probably won't, looking back on it, okay, as forward, we always say it's probably a tight pitch, and maybe that suited Kilcoole a wee bit, but equally they say they like the wider, bigger pitches to play their brand of football. But Dunlavin probably didn't have the space in front of their full forward line that they like to have or that they usually have. There was no sweeper played. It was just they maybe, I don't know, was it the plan or that? But their full forward line, due to the fact that they were marked well, but also weren't as prominent maybe with the space that they would have wanted.
Well, it was gut wrenching. Like, you're hard to go out to them. Like, they went 2 points up.
Yeah,
they're deep into injury time, and as John said, a ball was won in the middle of the field, and Ronan Keddy got it, and you could hear on the video a certain man shouting, "Kick it into the river!" We won't say who it was, John, right? But if the ball had went dead, like the ball was turned over, up Dunlavin went up the field, and I think it was Daniel Dawson won the penalty.
Yeah, but even before that, there was probably the cynic and everybody is, when you're at that point, and Dunlavin needed a goal. They didn't need a point. A point is no good to them because the clock was ticking. And, as that ball came out and Dunlavin moved up the field, the cynic says, you've got to foul that guy in the halfway line or in the 45, but don't let it get that far up the field and just give us a chance to get 8 back, 9 back behind the ball. But from the Kilcoole side, they've so much to take from it, from the brand of football they played. And if your negatives are that there was a bit of experience needed at this point, that's not a bad place to be. You know, you can't buy it in a bottle. It's mistakes lad won't make again. And equally from the Dunlavin side, okay, maybe deep down they say they should have played better, the wides and that, but they played good football, and you know, you couldn't say they didn't play good football at times in the game. It was a meeting of two very well matched teams on the day, and if Dunlavin are taking something psychological from it as well, it is we pulled that out of the fire. We pulled it out of the fire in the last minute,
and it's good that you have that. You know, and like you say, but we will be going back and be saying, look at lads, did we rob it? Maybe we did. Did we deserve to win it? Yeah. Maybe we did, but we scraped one out of the barrel here. We've got it. Like, let's go back. I
think it was Paddy O'Shea once said, like, the team that deserves to win it is the team that's ahead at the end. Like, I mean, you can take all the, you know, I don't go with that. The team that wins. That's it. That's the nature of sport. That's what it is. If you have more points than the other team at the end, you have won the game. You can say we could have done better. We played great, but you know that. But to be fair, you know, Kilcoole were brilliant. I couldn't say it on the day. That they deserve to win it more than Dunlavin. It was a great game of football. They were matched so well, and look at, you know, you'd love to see the two of them have another crack at each other at some stage in the championship, because it'll be a good game as well. Yeah,
and like maybe I was a little bit disrespectful to Kilcoole at the start of this. Like, and I have a soft spot for him as well. That I said maybe the best they can try get in the group is third place. They proved all the critics wrong on that anyway. They are well capable of topping this group if they go on and keep pushing on, you know. But so equally are Dunlavin and Carnew. And let's not forget about Donard. They're sitting in the long grass there as well, coming along, you know. But it's another group. I think it's a very good championship so far. Like, for ourselves going around, like, I'm really, really enjoying it. There is some top class games. Yeah,
probably intermediate every year. It's the gift that keeps on giving every year. Like, and, you know, you have so many teams that are well matched in the intermediate, and you look at it at the start and you go, the groups are always fairly, you know, you split them in two and you go, Jesus, that group one's tough, and then you go, well, group two doesn't look too handy either, like, you know. So yeah,
but even in this group, like, you still have Dunlavin and Donard left to play. You've Donard and Rathnew, you've Kilcoole and Carnew left to play. You know what I mean? You've humdingers of matches in that group still to be played out, like, and it's going to go right down. Look, you know, if you're any of those teams, you take third place all day now this minute.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, although you're probably looking at, with that result, Dunlavin top in the group maybe. But if you're any of the rest of the teams there looking around, you're probably saying to yourself, give me third place, I'll take it. You know, and that's a testament to the strength of the championship, I suppose.
Yeah, like, I mean, look, Dunlavin of Donard next, regardless of that result, they've now played the top four teams in that group, you know. After that, so their last game then is Rathnew is their last game.
Carnew.
Dunlavin.
Dunlavin is at Stratford. Sorry.
Stratford, yeah. So, like, I mean, yeah, probably in pole position, but between you, as we said earlier, you wouldn't write the North off to rattle them in the next game, local derby. And Kilcoole and Carnew could have a real tight one in the last game.
They could, but just go back through a few of the odds we tipped there. I went for Donard against Stratford. I went for Carnew against Rathnew, and I went for Kilcoole. Let me down again Dunlavin. But myself and John picked man of the match in the Kilcoole match. I went for wing back
for
Kilcoole.
Derek Eddy.
Yes, and you went for centre forward Owen.
I did, and I thought Owen he had a great first half against Paul Murtagh, who's a fabulous footballer. He got 3 points from play. He probably tired a bit in the second half, but I do, like, I mean, again, it's probably a bit of a Kilcoole coloured glasses, whatever that is. But to be fair, you know, you pick a team, a man of the match off the losing team. Probably it was very hard to pick one, because there was nobody absolutely lorded it over the whole game. To be fair, like, I mean, you know, the Dunlavin played well collectively. Cian O'Sullivan might have had a shout with it, but he had his quiet moments as well. He's their scoring talisman, like, you know. So tough to pick it, but okay.
It is. Well, I picked him, but thinking back about it again, when I was going back through my notes and writing up a bit of stuff here, I'm going to change my mind just on the night and give it to lad on the winning team. I'm going to give it to number 12, Dara Dillon. He scored 3 or 4 points from play there. The man, he was their danger man, because Kilcoole had no answer to him with his pace. Once he got turned his man, he was gone, and that's who I'm going to give it to. I'm going to give it onto the winning side.
So does that you overruled it?
No, that's just I'm changing my mind. No.
We have to give a casting vote then, or
No, you can do whatever you want. Like, you're going to do that anyway.
Well, fair play to Alan. 2 out of 3 ain't bad in that group. You were down a good bit for the weekend with your tips, but 2 out of 3 in that one
sort of brought you back a bit there.
brought back credibility a little bit. Might make you let a couple of little tips now next time.
Right.
We'll move on to Junior A. There's games Thursday, Friday and Saturday in Group 1. Kilcoole continuing their good performances. That was Group 2. That's Group 2. Is this Alan or?
Yeah.
No, it's Group 1. Group 1. Group 1. Kilcoole 318 Hollywood 6 points on Thursday night. Ballymount 218 Blessington 6 points on Friday, and Ockram 19 Lacken Kilbride 1-9. I suppose that's if you look at the top of the table, you're looking at 2 teams who've conceded less than 10 points in 2 games. You don't see that very often.
Yeah, no, I was at the Kilcoole match on Thursday night, and it was one-way traffic for the most part. Yeah, they look to be a step above. I think Kilcoole have Ballymount and Blessing in their next 2 matches. There'll be 2 must-see matches the way the group is going. They look very strong all over the field. In fairness to Hollywood, we see they've a junior C team in as well. So like they're fielding 3 adult teams, which can't be easy up there either.
Or Blessington.
Yeah, and look, something has to give, as the lad says. They just weren't up to the power and the pace of Shillelagh all over the field.
Well, they come up from Junior B last year. They won it, and it's great. And like I said last week, when we were talking about the preview for this, I think their goal this year, if they could stay up Junior A, that would be their goal. Like if Kilcoole go, their goal is to win it. After winning the league, they're on a major bounce, and we don't want to keep hitting on edges. We say.
Well, it was a much improved performance from the last day for them as well.
It was, but they didn't start boom, or they didn't start Wayne Kinsler. They blooded in a few other lads, which is like to bring them 2 boys onto a field, lads, like you're saying here,
Look, they were.
But like equally, you Ballymount as well. Like they're clocking up massive scores.
Yeah, Ballymount look to be that win for Ballymount against Blessington there as well. As we've alluded to, Blessington have 3 teams in it as well. But 218, that's you're not messing there. Scoring 218, you're not messing. And having said that, Kilcoole kicked an awful lot of wides. I'm not sure of the number. I didn't take it down, but they kicked it. They scored 318. They kicked a lot of wides on the night.
14 wides.
Yeah. So, these 2 teams in this group look to be head and shoulders above anything else at the minute. Well, I haven't seen Blessington playing, to be honest, but
I saw him in the league now. I haven't saw him in Cambridge yet, and we have to apologise maybe to the junior A's as well that we haven't been showing you as much now. We physically can't be everywhere, But there is important games coming up in that group. As you hit on there, the Ballymount, Shillelagh and Blessington, they're going to be they're like Shillelagh Blessington match and Shillelagh Ballymount match. They're going to be crunchers, so we'll try to get to them. But just looking at the Blessington line out, Kevin Quinn last day scored 1-8. He didn't seem to be there, So that's a massive loss. Maybe we'll put the jinx on him and sing of his praises too much, because I definitely didn't see him on the line for the seniors. So maybe the chap is away in holidays or other tied up some other way. I think he would have made a difference. Would he have made that much of a difference towards the scoreboard?
I suppose you don't know, but
I have saw Ballymount at the start of the year or the first match a bit of it there. They're a fair outfit.
Yeah, well, we alluded to before, they're knocking on the door there.
Last 2 county finals in a row.
Yeah, 2 county finals in a row. For the last few years, they're up at the head of the betting, as the fella says, for the junior A every year. They're well up there.
They're a team on a mission now. I think probably the game that's as you said, the Ballymount Shillelagh game is going to be worth the admission for sure to get a look at it. The way Shillelagh are going, I think if they took on the All Blacks at the minute, they probably fancy their chances, and it's a great place for them to be. But that's the game that'll decide who wins that group. Probably, I know that sounds an early thing, but look, it's obvious there. You can see it. And two good first teams, as we said, playing.
At the top of their game.
At the top.
Playing at the top of their game.
Yeah, and then Ockram they defeated Lacken Kilbride 19 points to 1-9. Ockram came back from a poor display the last day out against Ballymount. They scored 1 point. As you just mentioned earlier, 1 point against Ballymount, and they come back and they score 19 points this week.
Yeah, look, I suppose if you're over Ockram, I mean, that you're kind of scratching your head on that one, how you can go from scoring a point to scoring 19. Look, it was much needed for them. You know, we said after the last day that they're not that bad a team. Like, when you look through the team sheet, you know, they're just not that poor a team, in fairness to them. You know, did lots of big performances from what I heard. And in this one, you know, Conor Phelan, my back centre back, I think played very well all over the field. You know, the Richard Keegan, a few lads back there as well, you know, proven scorers. Like, you know, but they're the lads you need to have. Like, they can't be without anyone either. And it's just, look at it, it lifts a bit of a weight from around their shoulders a bit as well, because, you know, we all know when things aren't going well in your local town and stuff, the lads are down on you, and, you know, and everything is down. But look, it's a good win for them. It doesn't help like in Kilbride's case. We alluded, and don't seem to be going great up there at the minute. But for Ockram, it was a tonic of a win, really.
There was, like, it was 5 points apiece at half time, you know, and I had tipped the draw on this one. But like, going through it there, they had 9 different scorers, which is good for them, you know. Like, they're not they're not just relying on the one lad like that. I know obviously the first game they only got 1 score, like that. Let's forget about that, you know. That's gone, and like, they're at the racking up night. Like, they've come out on the bounce, as I said, and they put
you know, if you're over Ockram, all you want is a reaction. That's a good reaction as you could ask for. So like, that's what you're looking for, you know.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, so that's Group 1. Ballymanus and Tinahely could buy both on 4 points with a heavy score difference. Or Blessington and Ockram both on 2 points, and Laragh, Kilbride and Hollywood yet to register scores there. In Group 2, we had wins we actually only had 1 win for Annacurra, and we draws between Barndarrig and St. Pat's and Baltinglass and Ashford. Friday night seen 2 draws in this one. Barndarrig, they defeated Eire Og the first night, and Pat's, I suppose we were just talking about it last week, about the names that Pats have at their disposal. It seems like a cracker of a game. Last minute score as well, I believe, Alan.
There was, yeah.
Look, I just think on that one, you know, Barndarrig again, I think Michael Murphy was, you know, heavily, I think he scored all but a point, as far as I know. He was heavily involved there as well. A Pat's team, you know, with so many names on it, you're kind of looking and saying they've only 1 point after 2 matches. Yeah. Which will probably tell you the strength of the Junior A Championship as well, to be fair. Yeah, definitely, you know, yeah. Like they can field such a strong team and still be them. But, you know, as I said, Barndarrig, if anything comes a cropper with Michael Murphy, it's looking like, you know, they'll want to be wrapping him up in cotton wool in hurling and football for the next few weeks. You know, James Kavanagh kicked 5 points for Pats. Niall Earls was there. It's just one of those matches, I suppose, that it could have went either way. And, you know, Barndarrig will be happy with the draw. It was a monster free, I think, to level it from Michael Murphy. And, you know, Pats will probably say they probably should have edged it out. So, look, again, it's one of them, a point they're probably happy enough with.
There's no doubt about it, they'll be happy coming out of that. There's no doubt about it. Because looking ahead on paper, like, Pats are strong again, as we had on all along. But they're still contenders there. They've dropped 1 point, they haven't lost, which is amazing. That's a good thing, like, you know. And like, Pats were coming back off a loss, so they were looking for blood, you know, and they only managed to get to 1 point.
Yeah, and again, look, the group is tight. You know, you've 3 points. You know, Annacurra are top with 4, but you've 2 teams on 3 points, 2 teams on 1 point that have drawn with teams around them. You know, like Ashford and Barton, that's drawn 3 points. You know, like, there's not a lot between these teams. Like, there's still results can go anyway in this group still. And
we said last week, like, the Group A, they're kind of. And you see what shape that's going to take, but like, looking at Group 2 there, we said there's going to be massive hiccups in this. There's going to be scallops tucked, there's going to be twists and turns, and it's by no far decided, you know.
Yeah, well, like, you've Ashford and Pats there, like, 2 good teams that, you know. And Kevin, you must have been good that you had put out the big tip for Ashford.
What word did he use earlier? I can't remember, but whatever it was.
Periphery.
I was on the periphery of it, very close.
But you didn't get it.
It was the tip. It was the tip of the week, and you were so near pulling half. So you must be devastated about that one.
Yeah, the two draws, and that really makes this, the match start to look really interesting. This, like, and Annacurra moving well, but still have Barndarrig and Baltinglass to play, and they're going to be big games for them. This one is definitely going down to the 5th round, I'd say.
Yeah.
Oh, there's nothing. It just doesn't look any other way, to be honest. It's so, as we said, look, we haven't been at that many of these matches, but I know I'll be heading to some of them now with the way this is lining up. I'll definitely be heading now from now on, because these are, it looks like it's going to be a humdinger of a group, let alone a championship.
Yeah.
You know,
like on Toker, corn for winners over Eire Og, that team are starting to struggle. They only got 5 points against Ballinacor the first day as well, I think. If you look at, I know they got more, did they? They got 5 points the first day against Ballinacor, so they're not firing on all cylinders. But on Toker, they're topping the scoring for column anyway. They have 49 points for and 9 against, so they're put together the performances.
Yeah. Oh, they look on Toker, and we probably haven't given them that much airtime either, to be fair. They've come out of the traps really well in this, and as we said, they've played Ashford, or they've played
Ashford in the first game.
Yeah, Ashford in the first one, and Greystones there. But like 4 points on the board in that group, I'd take it all day after 2 matches anyway. Just looking at the way it's panning out.
Yeah, definitely. And that group is on Toker on 4 points, Ballinacor are on 3, Baltinglass are on 3, Pats and Ashford on 1 point each, and Greystones on 0.
Score difference could play a big part in that group, looking at the way it's starting to lie.
Yeah, everyone with a draw.
Everyone
with a
draw as well.
Yeah.
Like it could be looking like a serious player.
So that concludes the Junior A. We'll briefly just have a quick chat on the Junior B and Junior C Championship start this week. We'll go through the fixture. We'll discuss it in more detail next week.
Yeah, we'll just fly through the fixtures here, because we just can't keep up with everything at the minute, right? And that's not, and we're running out of time. So first up in the Junior C, you have St. Pat's Town against Blessington, you have Barnderry against Valleymount, and you have Coolkenno against Kilmacanogue. As I said, look, these are all second and third teams. We're just going to run through them. The strongest in that you're probably looking at the minute, I think St. Pat's will be hard toppled on that, like, because they're not definitely going to lose anybody to their higher two teams, and I think they have there's a few minors that have tied in with them there as well, and I saw them a few times during the league, and they're fit as fiddles. They're moving well, and if they can get their house in order, they'll be very, very hard.
Some of the hurlers playing there.
Hurlers playing there as well. So we just roughly jump on then to the Junior B. You've Dunlavin at home to the Geraldines. You have Avoca at home to Annacurra, which this is a massive game. You have 2 Junior A teams that play Junior A League now in the Junior B Championship, and draw against each other first.
And first teams.
First teams at home. Kieran Kenny's referencing this down in Rooster Park and Avoca. I think I'll be at this one.
Sell out.
Then you go on, you have Carnew and Newtown will be good. Carnew's junior team's not too bad. You have Toker against Kiltegan, you have Ashford against Knockananna will be strong in that note. They're a junior A team as well. You have Newcastle and Avondale. You have Newcastle, a junior A team as well, and they went down this year, I think, to play Junior B League, if my memory serves you right. Actually, you have Bray Emmet against Tinahely, you have Kilcoole against Stratford, and you have Baltinglass against Rathnew. Now Baltinglass and Rathnew is another massive game. Baltinglass got to the final, or nearly got to the final of their league against Dunlavin of the North West, whoever it was. I was a draw in the last game, I think, and Dunlavin pipped them, and Rathnew won their one, and Dunlavin went on to play them in the final. But so Baltinglass are up against the Rathnew side here. John Keenan's refereeing that in Baltinglass. That's going to be cracking.
Friday night, is it?
That is Thursday night.
Yeah, that'll be a good match.
That will be a good match. So we're going to try to spread ourselves out to get to some of these guys, and we'll hit on them more the next day. But that's all we have really for the football at the minute. We're just going to take a quick break, and we'll be back to them. We'll just hit on the hurling quickly. That's coming up over the weekend, and we'll let the lads home to put the chaps to bed.
We'll be chattering and nattering in the Garden County shed, but if the decent match comes up, then we'll do that instead.
Winners Enclosure Bookmakers, your local independent bookmaker. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat and Instagram for all our daily specials and enhanced odds. Phone us on 1890 429 863.
Murphy's Liquidation Furniture and Garden County Sport.
Welcome back there. Emmet is sticking on just to discuss the hurling fixtures coming up at the weekend. We'll just go through them, and Emmet can offer his thoughts. On Saturday, we have intermediate hurling, Kilcoole versus Barndarrig at 5 o'clock. Dara Byrne referees that. And Carnew Emmet against Tinahely at 6:45. Both of them are in Aughrim, with Chris Canavan refereeing that. Carnew top of the league, Emmet in this one, and looking good so far.
Yeah, Carnew top of the league, as we said, they're going really well. I've probably been a bit harsh on them up until now. I was kind of saying, looking at Kilcoole and the way they were going, just Glenelly have stripped their team a couple of times. Carnew were just about holding on to their talisman, TJ Hennessy. I think if he keeps performing the way he is, it could be a problem for them. But I just think Carnew might be just too strong in this one. I think Glenelly, I've seen them again, the Rocks. To be fair to them, they're every time they go out there without someone else, there's someone gone to the senior, and I think they're just struggling a little bit. But Glenelly are Glenelly, and that blue and yellow jersey brings out the best in anyone up around there. So and vice versa down our way, the red and white does as well. So I just think Carnew are motoring along there at the minute. If they can keep going without an injury or two and hold on to TJ, they should be thereabouts.
Like Carnew scoring highly, Glenelly and sort of leaking scores a good bit too. Like it will come down to a tough battle with the Carnew foreline, who are very well capable of scoring, taking over scores and dominating games.
Yeah, well, that's it. Look, 5-10 the last day. When you're knocking in goals as well, is always a good help. So as we said, I think Carnew are strong enough all over the field. Probably just hedge this one. Like I said, you never take Glenelly for granted in a championship match, but I just think the way Carnew are going a minute, as I said, if things changed and you lost TJ anyway, or lost anyone else, you could be in trouble. But there was slight rumours of certain lads coming back down there as well.
And there's heavy rumours going around alright, but
when I'd wait till I see him tugged out.
As you say, they're only Chinese whispers, right? You'll see. You never know, Emmet. You might be there yourself.
I can guarantee you that will not happen. I might be at the match, but you won't see me sleeking a pair of boots on.
I think you made that very obvious over the weekend, what you're saying about lads now when they're coming through, and it's a different game now.
It's a different ball game now.
The problem is now when we're here talking about people, there could be lads lining up to get
second place Kilcoole in that group. They are playing Barndarrig, who are at the bottom of the table there. Kilcoole had a great win the last day against the Rocks, and Barndarrig have.
They're unlucky. Barndarrig have been unlucky.
Comfortably beaten the last day with Carnew, but other than that, they've been very close.
We don't want to keep beating the drum about Barndarrig, but leaking goals is the problem, and until that's sorted out, they're not going to take much of a step forward.
Yeah,
like we said it the last day, every time. Andrew Kavanagh is a serious player. Nearly every time he scored 2 points against Carnew, they let in a goal at the other end. Like, to be fair, and it must have been heartbreaking for them all. Like, but I just think Kilcoole, the way they're more to score 22 points against the Rocks the last day. Now the Rocks scored 3-11. I know one of the goals was Lehan, I think, but 3-11's a big score to concede as well. But 22 points is a serious score to put up at any level.
Yeah, like just looking at their, like Barndarrig have conceded 12 goals in 3 games, like 4 a game average. Like, it's hard going. Like,
if you have to find 13 points every day before you can get a point up, it's a battle, like,
Yeah, definitely. So the free game that weekend in the Rocks have a free game this weekend, Alan, is that right? That's
because St. Pat's are going over.
Yeah, so the Rocks in 3rd place at the moment. So that's the intermediate, short and sweet. Carnew on top, 3 wins from 3, 6 points. A healthy score there for Kilcoole in second on 6 points as well. They've played an extra game, 3 wins and a loss. The Rocks 4 games, 2 wins, 2 losses on 4. Glenelly on 2 points, but they did a sole win and 2 losses, and Barndarrig yet to pick up a win so far. On Sunday we have the Senior Hurling Championship. We have a game in between Eire Og and Glenelly at noon in Arklow. Eire Og put up a brave display the last day against Pats, but Pats, one man sort of took over there.
Well, it was kind of that middle third let Eire Og down, wasn't it? I think they conceded 2-7 to no score at that stage. I just think, look, again, it's one of those years for Eire Og. You know, they're gallantly fighting away on all fronts, but they just can't seem to get over the line on much. I just think Tinahely will be too much of an ask for him now. Probably, you know, you seen Warren Kavanagh going off with Rathnew the other night. It was a Hynes, maybe he picked up an Annacurra, an injury. Like, you don't know.
I heard he wasn't well coming into the game, and they took him off at half time. He was.
So look, maybe if he's recovered or whatever. Look, it's hard to know sometimes with these matches. Tinahely have 6 points in this group now. They'll probably, if there is a niggly injury, they probably won't be chancing them. I'd say, you know, we haven't seen Leighton yet. We haven't seen, but you know, those lads will have to get games into them shortly as well. Like you're on the flip side of the coin where minding lads is all very well, but you're into August now, and
you will, yeah. You know, you have 2 big games here. Well, I'm not saying that they're not all big games. Like you have Kiltegan and Avondale, neither of them on registering any points yet. I just think Kiltegan are going to be, if they can pull out anything they have at the minute, they put up a good performance again to that.
Well, that game is literally to get to the quarter final.
That's exactly what it is.
That's for your summer not to be over.
And
really,
like I hear it, like there is nobody going down, and you don't like would Avondale be happy to just let Peter away and finish in 7th place there and let it be till the following year? Maybe they would. Like they're
if you're not going to go down, you shouldn't be looking that way.
I know that.
Like, you know, but the way things are going, maybe I don't know what the feeling is up there.
The way things are going with the football that they're taking a little bit of a dive, so
again, Eugene came off the other night. Looks like he's struggling with a bit of an injury. That'll be a blow to him. If Avondale had everyone, that'll be a humdinger of a game.
It will.
If they can field everyone, that'll be a humdinger of a game. But as you said, going on the results the way they've panned out, you'd have to say Kiltegan should probably have a little bit too much.
Yeah.
You know, so
again, let's jump to the other end of the spectrum there. Like you've Bray and Carnew, like that's going to be the tie of the weekend.
Yeah, the game of the weekend. Yeah.
So like your Carnew, like I'd say, they're going to go ahead. There's no doubt about it. Carnew are going to try to take a scalp here.
Well, Carnew have to.
Yeah.
Because the fact of the matter is, if you're looking at it in the cold light of day, if you're Carnew, you don't want to be in 3rd place.
Yeah.
Because it'll look like you could have to beat Tinahely and Bray to win a championship.
Yeah.
In the cold light of day, that's not ruling anyone else out.
Yeah.
At that stage, but that's the way you're thinking it have to be. So the only way you can get out of that is beating Bray and finishing in the top 2.
Yeah.
So by doing that, the chances are you could miss someone in the to finish top is where you want to finish really, but if you can or if you can't. But I don't know. I just think looking at this Bray team up until now, I'd be fearful enough on Sunday that they just seem to have, as I said before, the names in the right places. They seem to be very well balanced. They're playing to a system, and I'd just be afraid that Carnew just might not have enough to handle it.
And John Henderson, of course, back in action last weekend for the footballers. So you know,
and I just like, you know, I'm not running the Carnew lads down. You know, they always seem to be able to put up to Bray and give them a right good rattle. But just this year, the way that Bray team is looking on paper,
it's very hard to see past it. Yeah,
I'd be fearful for the way they're going about their business, to be honest. And you know, I know Carnew still have an injury or two. There's Andrew Hughes is to come back. I'm not sure whether he'll be back or not. But even at that, I think, you know, we'd really need a good system of play and everyone firing on 110% if we were to take a win out of Sunday.
Yeah.
Could this be the game where you could see Carnew dipping into their intermediate team, or?
That would be the worry there. If I was on the intermediate team, I would be worried to that TJ could be lost on Sunday. If the need scores, I definitely would have worried about it, you know.
Yeah.
So,
and reffing, I think John Keane is reffing, is he?
John Keane is reffing. Yeah. Look, John will let the game flow. He'll let the game go. There'll be no reason for either team to be, you know.
I just as we do mention his name, and our heart goes out to you, John, for not getting the All-Ireland there. Look, you keep it chipping away, and maybe next year you might be.
Look, that's the game. You want to be doing the big games or whatever, but John has made big steps, in fairness to him, in the last couple of years there.
Yeah.
You know, he's done the Leinster final. He'll be thereabouts. You know, from the GA's point of view, for me, I think it's harsh enough that a man can do a semi-final and a final last year and a league final this year and get another final. But if that's the way they're going down the road with it, that's the way they're going down the road. But as I said, you know, he will get an All-Ireland final, I've no doubt in it anyway.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Yeah.
it's on its way. So
Yeah, well, fingers crossed anyway there for you, John.
Yeah, so these are my predictions anyway. I'm not going to pick man of the matches because you just don't know who's going to line up with what. But right,
Well, go ahead, Alan.
Right, let me speak. Right, I'm going to go for Carnew and Kilcoole in the intermediate, and I'm going to go for Carnew, Glen and Kiltegan into senior hurling. Now,
There's a big call in there. Big call there, yeah.
well, from a Carnew man, look, I can't say what I'm after saying for a few minutes ago. I'll go for Kilcoole, Carnew intermediate, Glen, Kiltegan and Bray for me.
right.
And that's...
I'd stick with Emmet there as well.
Well, that's fair enough, boys. And I would be a very happy guy coming in here with 5 now out of 5 to just to shut you up.
Well, you'd want to pick up after last week, I suppose.
Well, you know
You were
what?
0 out of 5 after the first day.
Well, you know what? Like, it can only go up. You know what I mean? When you're at the bottom there, there's only one way up. But look at
Yeah, we're just about to wrap it up here now. Sorry, we were sort of got a little bit over time tonight. We didn't intend on staying so long on some of the issues. But before we go, we have a winner of the free bet from Winners Enclosure, Rathnew. They were texting in there.
yeah, it's Richard Kavanagh. We'll be in contact with you after the competition, Richard. Thank you very much once again. You text in every week. You're one of our loyal followers. Fair play to you. We promise we will hit more next week on the junior B's and the junior C's. It's
And
so
the junior
hard.
hurling championship next
And the
week as
junior
well.
hurling
Yeah.
championship as well. So look at thanks very much again for listening in. There's another competition for the 2 free tickets, either Saturday or Sunday, whichever game you want to go to. You'll see it'll be up on our Facebook page and our website there. Just like and share the podcast. We're just trying to get subscribe. Try to get the traction out there. Another thing too, go over and subscribe to us on. We're on Spotify as well, but go over and subscribe to us on our YouTube channel. We have a YouTube channel there, and all the games highlights will be up on it. And just if you subscribe to it, as soon as we upload them, you'll get notifications, or else it'll bring you through the website as well. But like, we're on all the old
Social media.
/bashniks there, as the lad says.
Yeah.
All right.
Right.
Look, thank you very much.
Yeah,
for
thanks,
following
folks.
us.
Thanks
Yeah.
to Emmet and thanks to John. We'll be back next week.
We'll be chattering and nattering in the Garden County shed. But if the decent match comes up, then we'll do that instead.
Winners Enclosure Bookmakers, your local independent bookmaker. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat and Instagram for all our daily specials and enhanced odds. Phone us on 1890 429 863.
Murphy's Liquidation Furniture and Garden County Sport.